Info Spot 411 YouTube channel, the late night show. Here it is, Saturday night. We've got some interesting stuff to talk about, and we're going to have a fun time, do a little networking. You know how it goes. Okay. I see a couple people in. Welcome, welcome. This is Ed with the Info Spot 411 YouTube channel. Back again, the late night show. Oh, okay. Thank you for coming. Yes. Hello. Hello. I'm going to put a big hello in chat box here for everybody. Thank you for coming. Okay. As I have in the description box, I'll go over it. I got some interesting and fun stuff to talk about. Rolling blackouts in California. They got some major issues with electricity and power over there. I'll get into that. I am doing terrific. Thank you for coming. Thank you. Just going over some stuff for the show tonight. Rioters tear down the George Washington statue at LA City Hall. That's Los Angeles, California. I'll read the news article, and then I'll give my opinion on this matter as far as the Confederate statues and a lot of these other statues that are being torn down. I have some mixed feelings on this, so we'll get into that. Interesting news story. Oh, this is cool. A 15-year-old boy is making some wood flags to support heroes from hospitals and veterans and stuff. So he's carving them up like custom American wood flags. Really cool news story. And I got a little rant about rude people yesterday. Oh, thank you for coming, McNikram. Just going over the stuff for the show tonight. Thank you for being here. Anyway, I got a rant on rude people. Something I witnessed yesterday. My neighbor across the street, somebody came to visit her, and he was extremely rude. Yes, yep, I'm going to get into that. A few other things. The FDA, that's the Food Drug Administration, grants emergency use authorization for saliva COVID-19 tests that has a faster result than the current ones. And I'll go over the news article. And I've had the COVID-19 test back in late May. I mean, they literally took some swab like this and then, almost all the way up to my dang nose and, moving around. Well, this is a little different test. It's going to be a lot faster. Any rate, here's an interesting story. An Australian surfer saves his wife by punching a shark. His wife is attacked by a shark on a beach in Australia, and he saves his wife by punching the shark. I'll go over it. I did a video a while back, I want to say like in March or February, about sneakers from the 1980s. Well, I got a story here. Michael Jordan shoes have been auctioned for a record of $615,000. Now, these are the very first issue Michael Jordan shoes that came out, I believe was in 85. And these are shoes that are autographed by Michael Jordan and that were worn by him. And I'll get into that story. Kind of a cool story. And lastly, Maryland man breaks a state record with a little over 14-pound sheephead fish. I mean, this is pretty cool. Wait till you see the size of this freaking fish. Oh, Life Anaya 06, thank you for coming. I'm just going over the stuff here for the show tonight, as well as we'll be networking as more people come in and just having some fun. And we'll do some general conversation on some topics and see where it goes. Let me move my cheat sheet over here. I got my Red Bull tonight. When I do my broadcast, I want to say Tuesday or Wednesday, I'll get the Price is Right game. I didn't get time today. I had a bunch of errands and some stuff to do, but I will be doing a Price is Right game again for all of us here in a late night show. Man, if I need to get COVID testing and they stick something up my nose, I'm just going to have. Okay, yeah. Well, I got an article here, Life Anaya. They have a new test. It's going to be faster, and it's just going to use saliva. Similar to like those DNA tests. Like if someone gets arrested and they're a suspect in a murder, and the a judge signs off on a warrant, they can get DNA, and all they got to do is just, swab the inside of someone's mouth, put it in there, and they could test it. So this is similar how it's going to go. Anyway, let me get to this. This was kind of interesting here. I printed this up. It comes from the weather.com website, August 15th. Sweltering California heat wave prompts rolling blackouts and fuels wildfires. Wow. Now, I've heard of these like rolling blackouts in California where they've had, major power issues. Anyway, let me read this short article here and we'll talk about it at a glance. High demand on the power grid prompted rolling blackouts. More than 350,000 homes and businesses were left in the dark Friday night. That's just the other night, Friday night. The heat and dry conditions helped fuel several wildfires. So now they got more wildfires in California. And I guess some air quality warnings were issued in the area. Well, currently the test is with the COVID, and I'll get back to this news article on the blackouts in California. What I found out is that the COVID-19 is most identifiable by testing. Currently, it's way in the back of the mucous membranes behind up of your nose and way down your throat. So to get a good accurate test, currently what they're doing, they got to go down the throat or way up the nose to identify the COVID-19. Now, the one where they get the blood, that's an antibody test to see if someone might have had it like 4 months ago and that they never knew about it and they had strong antibodies. But I'll get into the news topic story here on that just a little bit. They got a newer test where it's just going to get saliva. Oh, anyway, let me get back to this real quick. So sweltering, this is from weather.com, just came out today. Sweltering California heat led to the high demand on the state's power grid Friday, prompting rolling blackouts across the state that left. Okay, that's the same thing. Officials warn of outages could continue in coming days. Wow. The California Independent System Operator, which manages the state power grid, declared a stage 3 emergency that Friday night, that was last night, which sets off rolling power outages when demand for electricity is higher than the supply. It was the first time since 2001 that since such an emergency was declared. Wow. So this is like a major rolling power outage that they did in California that hasn't happened since 2001. So basically, there's just so much of a demand on the Unified Gaming. Thank you for coming, and man, much love for you for the video, by the way. I really, really appreciate it. Anyway, so yeah, when the demand gets too high for what they can supply with that power, they're doing deliberate power outages. Now, I've heard of this in California in certain cities and areas, like in Los Angeles or San Diego. But apparently it's just because of this record heat that they've been having. I know in Arizona, yes, thank you for coming. Up. In Arizona, they set a new record. They went over 110 degrees Fahrenheit for 30 freaking days. And they were talking all about that area from like Arizona, Nevada, and, Southern California getting these this record heat wave. So they're having major rolling power outages, blackouts. I'm sorry. That's what they referred to it as, blackouts, because everything goes out. So, that with the heat wave and in their power grid. So I don't know. It's kind of like, well, California is a very progressive state in the sense that the state legislature, the governor, they're very progressive, liberal. And why I'm getting at that, not so much on the politics, but they're not too big on having nuclear power plants. Now, you put a couple nuclear power plants up there, they can meet the demand of everything. But there's the other side that argues, you have nuclear power plants and there's an accident. It's a major risk to all the people in the state. So but you know, there's pros and cons to everything. And I talked about this briefly with the electric cars, but I believe it's close to half our electricity used here in America still comes from burning coal. So I do know one thing I like is they're going to a lot of other sources like the windmills and the solar power panels. But the problem with that is you can only get so much electricity and power off of windmills and solar panels. I always believe in the diversification, so maybe that might be the answer over there in California. You know, because they're just getting too much demand for what is needed. I mean, shoot, the state of California, I believe, is just shy of 40 million people. They got more people in the state of California than the country of Canada. So, yeah, they got some major power issues. Oh, when am I doing another product review? Okay, before I get my next story, my next video will be a drink review coming up, and I'll go over that later as a video spoiler. I mentioned this, I believe, on my last live. I'm waiting on I ordered off eBay. This is pretty cool, guys, for a product review. I got a 7-Eleven Slurpee machine. Now, 7-Eleven, from what I found out so far, they made two major Slurpee machines. One is like it's got a crank handle, and you got to go around for 5 minutes cranking this stupid thing to get the ice, and you mix in the Coca-Cola or Hawaiian Punch, whatever you want to make your Slurpee. Well, I got my hands on one that was made, I think, in 2005 or 6. It's used, and I got it for just shy of $20. But you put 4C batteries in this sucker, and I got to, once I get the box and the directions, anyway, it's almost like the Slurpee machine at 7-Eleven. It's the round cylinder, and it'll make your Slurpee. So once I get that, I'm going to do a really cool product review on the 7-Eleven Slurpee machine and make myself a Slurpee. That'll be my next product review. But I try to surf the eBay as well as go online. And one thing I love to target with product reviews, not all of my product reviews are this, but most of them are, is I love these as seen on TV products. And I love to find out, is it a good product? Oh, thanks, Unified Gaming. Or is it one of these products that's just a big freaking gimmick and it's a piece of crap and ain't worth nothing? One example was I did months back, one on that clapper. It's been around for years. You just, and it's an outlet with like an audio sensor. And when it picks up the clap, it's supposed to shut off and then turn on. So if you got a light, and maybe a radio, you plug it in and you're supposed, man, that damn thing wasn't worth how should I say, it wasn't worth the $15 I think I spent on it. I wouldn't buy that clapper if I saw it in a garage sale for $5, to be honest with you. But some of these as seen on TV products I like a lot. I just did one recently on the Rapid Ramen Cooker. I like that beef and shrimp flavored ramen. Well, this damn thing, for years, I've always made my ramen. I've put it in a pot, and I love it in the afternoon, kind of to hold me over for dinner. But this thing is like a really, really thick plastic, and you put a thing of ramen in there, and you put however much water you want with the flavoring packet, and I just put a wet paper towel over it. Man, I cooked up my ramen, and it tasted just almost as good as cooking it up in a pot, and much easier to clean. It was just boom. And I thought that was a terrific as seen on TV product. And I got that off of eBay for like $7. Maybe it's on Amazon for like $5, but that's one of those as seen on TV products that I gave it a thumbs up, man. And I said, hey, this is something worth buying. Oh, thank you, Joe Sydney. Thank you very much. Thank you for the shout out. Yes. You know what? Let me do this before I get into my next news topic here about the rioters that that tore down the George Washington statue at LA City Hall, and I give you my thoughts and opinions on these statues being torn down. I got kind of mixed thoughts and opinions on this. Let me get some channel drops here because we are networking. So let me do a few channel drops here for everybody, okay? The only thing is I can't be dropping like 6 channels at one time because YouTube will view that as like spam, as spamming doing that. But I'm going to get some channel drops in here while you guys are here so you can network with each other if you're not connected. Let me bring up a window. So just bear with me a few seconds here. I'm going to take a second to help you guys out with some networking. Paste, Unified Gaming. All right. Why is it? Huh. Let me do this. Okay, here I go. I just had to get the link to your YouTube channel. Copy. Okay, some channel drops coming up. Yeah, I'll get into that in just a second. Let me get the channel drops. I'll read this article and I'll give you my opinion, and we'll have a really great discussion on this topic. Okay, here's a channel drop. If you guys aren't connected with Unified Gaming, hit him up. Here's his channel in the chat. I'm going to get to you. Just give me a couple seconds. I got to put it in here and grab the link and toss it in the chat window here, because we are networking. So I'm going to do this to help everybody network with each other. It makes it a lot easier. So if you're not connected with somebody, in genuine networking, your channel link will be right here. Oh, thank you for coming. I appreciate it. We're going to get into some topics here in a second. We're just doing a little networking, and I'm dropping some channels. Boom. Okay. Who else we got here? Life of Naya. I got you. Alrighty. Okay. Copy. Okay, McNichrum, I'm going to hit you with a channel drop. Give me just a second here. Boom. Okay. McNichrum, I got you next. If I haven't got you yet, just give me a second. Just takes me, a few seconds here to pull up your channel and get you a channel drop. Now, when I say real quick, again, we're networking. That means visit someone's channel, check out one of their videos, watch it in full, leave a nice comment and a like, and subscribe to them. That's genuine networking. And if you want, watch 2 or 3 of their videos, because that's what you'd like people to do when they come to your channel. Easy enough. Alrighty, here we go. Kaboom! There we go. All right. Blizzard, Minecraft. Oh, I got somebody right here. Copy. All right. Hold on. I'm getting you guys. I'm trying to get everybody here, get some channel links so we just make it easier for us to network with each other. Unified 78. Oh, okay. I got you over here. ORAENE 78 VEVO. Okay, I got you, buddy. Copy. Jill Sydney. Oh, okay. Minecraft. Let me get you, buddy. If you're still here, I'll put you in, and then we'll get rolling with the show here. I'm getting everyone in here so we can network with each other. Blizzards for Minecraft. Okay, I got you. Copy. I'll put you in here. Paste. All right, here we go. Boom. Okay, let me just get back to the show. I've got the channel links in there. Make it easy for all of us here to network with each other. Your links in there. Having my Red Bull. When this is done, I'm going to my Snapple. Okay, here it is. Let me read this article. It won't be that long. It was like a long article. I took out, the meat and potatoes of it, and I got a picture here, and I'll give you my thoughts and opinion, and we'll talk about this. Okay, so this is from a CBS news station affiliate, KCAL 9, Los Angeles News. So I take it's Channel 9 in Los Angeles, KCAL. Rioters tear down George Washington statue at LA City Hall. 7 people were arrested Thursday night. That's just past Thursday night. After a statue of George Washington in downtown Los Angeles was defaced and torn from its base, the LA Police Department said. According to initial reports, a group of protesters gathered in Grand Park about 7 p.m. and defaced the statue located on Hill Street between Temple and First Streets. That's somewhere in downtown Los Angeles. Before forcibly removing it from its base. The statue has stood in the city since 1933, KCAL noted. Okay, now let me show you a picture here. I printed up a picture. Not too dark, but I'll move it so you can kind of see it. And let me get my pen here. This was the statue when it was standing of George Washington at the Los Angeles City Hall. And this is what the group of people did who tore it down. They put like a rope around it and yanked it down and then vandalized, the George Washington statue here. And it says here, August 13th, 2020, George Washington before and after the protest. This is the pictures. They try to do that here in Iceland, but they try to remove. Oh, Michael Collins. Okay. I'm not sure who that is. Well, anyway, let me address this first issue, okay, with George Washington, because there's one thing that doesn't get mentioned in a lot of history class, all right? George Washington had a slave, and his personal slave was like his servant at that time. Now, we're talking like 1770 something when the American Revolution was, and his slave took care of getting his clothing for him each day and food ready, and even when he was president. We need love. This isn't gonna cut, but justice needs to be served. The world was built off blood, unfortunately, shall continue. Okay, yeah, there's some truth to that, Nika. Nice. Now, yes, it doesn't get mentioned in the history books. George Washington did have a slave. He was a slave owner. But we are talking 200 some years ago, okay? A different time. Not saying it's right, but I'm having an understanding of that time in our American history. However, George Washington did a very great thing. And this is just my opinion. We don't, we might not agree. That's fine. And I'll get to the chat here. With the American Revolution in our 4th of July, we got our independence from England. Now, granted, black people in America at that time did not get independence in the American Revolution. But what should still be celebrated, whether you're a minority or Caucasian, and acknowledge what George Washington, the greatness that he brought our country was, that our country here, America, was free from England rule, that we did not spend the next 100 some years as a British Commonwealth. Some countries, for example, Jamaica, a lot of years they were under British rule. India was another country until Gandhi, were hundreds of more years under British rule. So we had lots of years where we were not being told what to do by England, and we were not under the United Kingdom and British rule and being taxed to death, so that to me is what's great and should be acknowledged. What George Washington did is the first president, and as well as the general in the American Revolutionary War. Now, let me check the chat window, and I'll give you my opinion here on the statues so I can address, because I know a lot of people want to talk about this. Wow, I saw the chaos. Will hate to. Yeah, didn't talk about police brutality yesterday. Life of Naya 06. Yeah, I can get into that just a little later. Hold on. But how is it that it's our fault? Not fair to tear down statues that. Now, I'm going to get into that in a second, because there's 2 points of view on this. So I'm going to give both sides to that, all right, with the statue thing. I just want to check the window here, Unify Gaming. Like I said, I don't want to get too much into our President Donald Trump. I'll say this because I said this before. There's things I like about President Donald Trump, and there's some things I don't like about President Donald Trump, and that's as far as I'll go. I, I kind of come on YouTube to get away from politics, but I'll discuss it when it deals with the topic. But especially when it comes to President Trump, President Obama, I try to gear out of that. It's like I get inundated with it. But yeah, if it deals with the topic, that's fine. And clearly many others. Um, Okay, now here's some things to consider when your opinions with the statues, okay? Because there's two sides to this issue. All right, let's talk these Confederate statues, and I'll get to George Washington and these others. Some of these Confederate statues have been up for several years, even right after the Civil War, when we established some of our national parks at our Civil War battlefields for all Americans that paid a price and died during the Civil War, like at Gettysburg National Park in Pennsylvania, Perrysville Battlefield in Kentucky, Shiloh, and as well as some museums. So this is history that not only we learn from, but our kids, and it gets passed down and never forgotten what happened with the Civil War, why it happened. And the root of the Civil War is slavery. Don't let anybody tell you that garbage is states' rights. I'll address that issue in just a little bit. But there were Confederate statues put up well after the Civil War. And what those were put up in certain areas is to warn minorities that they are not welcome here. So I get both sides of the issue. In certain areas say, hey, this is some city in Arkansas. It's not a Civil War battlefield. It's not a museum. I'm tired of seeing this thing. Take this down or remove it and stick it in some museum. I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem. Let's say, well, there's somewhat of a problem if we start voting on it, because you see, the problem if you vote to remove a statue and get rid of it, it becomes the majority. And sometimes the majority is not always right. So my opinion is, depending on where the statue is, and when it was put up, why it's there, should be left alone if it's a Confederate statue. Now, if as well, it should be removed and put somewhere else. It just as much do right. Like I say, one of my examples would be, let's say you go in some small town in Mississippi or Arkansas, and there's some Confederate statue there, and this thing was put up around 1905, and it has nothing to do with as far as a national park or museum. Then let's get rid of it. Let's remove it, donate it to Smithsonian or somewhere where it belongs. But as far as the other, and I'll get to the chat here in just a second, as far as other statues of, let's say, Abraham Lincoln and George Washington, there's things that should be there's facts about them that doesn't get discussed, and that should be well known. But I don't feel that removing a George Washington statue and destroying it just because he was a slave owner or whatever other reasons, that should be done. There was greatness that man did for our country. Now, Abraham Lincoln, yes, he freed the slaves, but did he really free black people? No. Did Abraham Lincoln give a rat's behind about civil rights for black people? Not much. He did a great thing at that time in our history in abolishing slavery, but Abraham Lincoln was not about giving complete rights to black people at that point in our history, around the 1860s when the Civil War was going on. As a matter of fact, during the Civil War, Abraham Lincoln, at the start of the Civil War, was going to allow slavery for these borderline states if they would side for the Union. And I believe that was Kentucky and what is part of Virginia, which is part now like West Virginia and Virginia. So, and I'll get to the chat. I haven't forgot. Just making a quick point here. Abraham Lincoln, it took, really minorities in this country didn't see freedom till the 1960s, because for years you had segregation, for Jim Crow laws, to a lot of times black people, I don't say just black people, minorities weren't allowed some of the same rights as Caucasians, if we're talking 1940s and 30s. But what Abraham Lincoln did, he helped end the slavery at that point in the 1860s, was one of the, and kept our country together as a union. So that is some greatness I feel he should be acknowledged for, and I wouldn't be a rush to judgment to be tearing down George Washington and Abraham Lincoln statues and the monuments. Let me check the chat here. I see it's really blowing up on this topic. That depicts evil. We need to put it down. That's true, but I'd like the statue up. Yes, we need to take them down. I would like someone I want to keep a statue. It means black people can't hear unless they don't want to. So if I kill a few people, I'm as good as long as at a hotel in Ireland. I don't get why some people don't want black people in America. No. Okay, on the chat here, I'm reading some of it. Well, with our country, as far as like a little bit on the race issue, is yes, we have racist people in our country. We have racist groups. Now, here's where I've had a lot of disagreements with people. I do not feel America is a racist country in whole. We do have, like I say again, racist people, and we have racist groups in our country. Is our country a racist country? I say no. But it's not to say I'm right and you're wrong. I'm just giving my opinion. We're having a discussion as far as these statues, and it deal. And we can't beat around the bush. This does deal with race and some of the stuff in the past. But I embrace history, but I'm one who's not being a victim caught up in the past. We're say, okay, we should acknowledge what happened and what happened in the past, but we are living in 2020, so that's where I kind of have, some differences in opinions as far as the issue on the statues. Keep statues that represent racism because I can't see it. Okay. Now with that, yeah, you have a point that, let's say, a Confederate statue that represents racism, but like I'm saying, let's take a Confederate statue. Let's say General Lee of the Confederacy. All right, and we talk Gettysburg National Park or Perrysville Battlefield, and they're honoring the Americans that fought and died, as well as the history of what happened in that Civil War. And they have some Confederate monuments and statues up there. I don't see a problem with that. It's not glorifying so much General Lee and the Confederacy. It's this is our history. This is where a Civil War battle happened and Americans shed blood, and this is Confederacy. Now, like I say, if there's a General Lee statue up in some small town, let's say in Mississippi or Arkansas, just as an example, and it was put up, and it has nothing to do with, let's say, a museum or a Civil War battlefield, then that should be removed and sent to some museum or to Civil War park or battlefield. And like some things with General Lee, yeah, he was the general with the Confederate Army, the Confederate Army, the Confederacy, I should say. But General Lee was he opposed slavery. The thing was, General Lee fought for the Confederacy because he couldn't turn his hand against his home state of Virginia. He was going to fight for the Union, but when Virginia came, he couldn't turn his hand and back to the state of Virginia. But one thing I'm going to clear up right now is you will hear some people give you misinformation and say that the Civil War was over states' rights. And that's see, that the problem is the Civil War was over slavery, and I'll explain why. And states' rights is just something that's hidden, as part of it. But the truth of the matter, the state rights were about slavery. Because if you do your research before the Civil War, what led up to the Civil War? And I'll explain this. Some of you might know this. What happened is states were expanding, territories going west. One of the major problems that was going on with our government at that time was the states would either declare themselves as a slave state or a free state. So the South wanted states as slave states. So when they got to Missouri, Missouri voted and they said, we'll be a slave state, meaning slave owners can can have their slaves here in Missouri. And then I think it was Nebraska and some others voted, and they said, no, we're not a slave state. Well, at the time, they didn't have the machinery and stuff for cotton and agriculture, so they needed slaves. So a lot of this, the Civil War, just before Lincoln came in the office, the states' rights was about slavery, and what led up to it was there was very fierce battles over the expansion of America and what would be a slave state, what would be a free state. So yeah, it was over slavery, the Civil War. This notion that it's states' rights, well, what's the states' rights about? It wasn't about the South was being taxed at 10% higher, or something like that. It gets back into slavery. So that's where the Civil War was. Majority of Civil War is about slavery. Now, it was also about keeping the country together. When they the South and Jefferson Davis, and they fired on Fort Sumter, and they split, and the Confederacy split. Abraham Lincoln, it was the first Republican, didn't want two separate countries. He wanted to keep everything America. Let me get to the chat window here, man. I see it exploding. This is kind of a hot topic. Now, I do want to say just my opinion. So if you don't agree with me, that's fine. I don't take anything personal. Yep. No, I wasn't a history teacher, but social science and political science are topics that are subjects. I'm sorry, it's getting late. They're subjects I really enjoy, and I've watched a lot of documentaries and read a lot too. Much about America's wars, but if in Ireland in 1916 there was a huge revolution which lasted for years till we got our independence from Britain in 1947-48. Now, my aunt is from Ireland up in Alaska. I have an aunt that lives in Alaska who was born in Ireland. I could ask her on that. White privilege. Years past, I do. But no, wow, I don't believe in general white privilege. For if you take a lot of college and universities, I don't see white people getting a big advantage in getting into a college and university over a black person today. Was there white privilege in our past? Oh yeah, there was. Yeah. But no, I've had one lady got a discussion with me on Facebook on that topic, and then I told her I was so white privileged I went in the military after I got out of high school, but yeah, that's a whole nother topic with when people claim the white privilege. But there is the other side that says, hey, look at all our four major sports. Why is every major sports team owned? We're the minority owners in that, and there is none up to this point. It's some of the real rich and wealthy. So yeah, there is a little bit of point on that. In years of the majority of the wealth being, with white people. But as far as me as a white person getting a lot of breaks just because I'm white versus, being black or Hispanic. Now that's where I would differ on that as far as white privilege goes. But, that's just my opinion, I'm just taking my glass to read the chat here. I do witness it every day. Yes, I do. Now, is that white privilege or something else you're referring to, Nika? Nice. You posted a video about, was it Christy Taylor? I see it all day, every day where I live. This was a dude that says black privilege is a thing. Yeah, the system for one. Well, there has been the argument brought up with as far as like some people argue black privilege and affirmative action, but see, yes, affirmative action does give a small break to minorities, let's say for like college admissions and other things. It's used in certain government jobs is given a break, but it's such a small, minute thing. Let's say somebody's a minority and they get a small break on affirmative action, getting into college and wanting to get in the law school or here or there. There's so much more that they have to be able to do. They're not just going to get that 4-year degree from Princeton because they had a break from affirmative action. Now, is affirmative action at its core like a reverse discrimination? Yeah, because it does favor somebody because of something that's not merit. Yes, but it to me it gets overblown as far as what it goes. But yeah, it's just my opinion, not saying I'm right or wrong, but addressing as far as black privilege. I'm seeing it in the chat window here because he says someone was rude to us. We can play it off as racist to get what we want. I'm not sure. Life of Naya and to want schools. If you think it's about white privilege, isn't really, because if you look at some of the most famous actors. Now you see, current times, there, you could look at some people, let's say like, I have a lot of respect for Condoleezza Rice, head political science professor at Stanford, worked under both President Bush administrations, and just incredible what she's done. General Coleman Powell. You look at one of the wealthiest women in America, it's Oprah Winfrey. But who owns the teams? Yeah, now I did bring that point up. I'm not arguing that. Now, a lot of, not a lot, all of the majors, take the 4 major sports, NBA, NHL, MBL, the MLB, baseball, and what's the other one NFL. I don't believe there's one minority owner for those teams. Now, I do take that back. The Jacksonville Jaguars have a minority owner. That gentleman, I forget his name. He's, I believe, from Pakistan. He's got that like mustache thing. So yeah, but one of my things, if people would argue that America is a racist country, like I say, I feel that there are racist people and racist groups in America, but if they feel that America is a racist country, my question to them is, then tell me one civil right or human right that a minority American citizen doesn't get that a white citizen gets in America today. Now, I acknowledge, like I say before, the 1960s, there was segregation and a lot of things. It was a whole different ball of wax. I kind of agree on unified gaming, but everything we do is based off of white people want us to do. Well, I wouldn't agree quite with that. Everything that you do is based off of what white people want you to do. And for actors or actresses, there is opportunity in America. We're not perfect. This isn't the perfect country, but then you look at some other countries, like I've heard, some people, was it the Iran deal that happened? And one of the things, like Iran, for example, they didn't end slavery in Iran till the 1920s. So a lot of countries have got, bad history. So, but anyway, so anyway, I'll move on to my next topic here. If anybody, do you have any more questions or anything else you want to say about the statues being removed or, the Civil War? Because that's what this topic's all revolving around, is these statues that are being vandalized and destroyed, taken down. It's all the history. There's nothing we can do. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Yeah, racism does exist. Yes, it does. And like I say, I acknowledge there's racist people, there's racist groups in our country, uh, 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 as well as a lot of other countries. Yeah, I think that's one of the things too. You got to acknowledge the truth and reality what's going on. But any rate, what's my next topic? Oh, I got a nice topic here. Yeah, like I say, Nika, nice. I have, like I say, my opinion is it's a little mixed. I feel certain statues should stay up depending where it is and what they're there for. Like for example, and I'll go one more time. If there's Confederate statues and stuff, let's say Gettysburg National Park, where people come there to learn about the Civil War and see, hey, this is the Civil War battlefield, and they got museums there. I feel they should stay. But like I say, when they've put up some Confederate general statue, let's say in some small town of Mississippi or Arkansas, has nothing to do with the Civil War, like a park or a battlefield, then that should be removed and taken to a museum or taken to like I say, the Gettysburg National Park or the Perrysville battlefield. That's my opinion on it, on the matter. We can't change the past, but we can change the present and make it. Yeah, yeah, true. Life and I. Yeah, we can't change the past, but we could change the present. But I do feel it's important that we do acknowledge and embrace. It doesn't have to necessarily mean a good embrace or a bad embrace, but this is our history, and let's pass it down and what the facts were and what happened. Whether it's the Civil War, the Vietnam War, the Great Depression, anything of that. I'm not one to say let's forget our history, but I don't want to live in that. But we also want to make what we're doing today, and have a better tomorrow, a better future. Yeah, great comment. Oh, okay. Good night. Life Anaya and Nico Nice. Good night. Thank you for coming. Next story I have here. A 15-year-old boy carving wood flags to support heroes. This is really a nice story. It could be educating yourself with the history. Oh yes, like Life of Naya. I do agree, and I'll get to this. I got a really nice story here. Let me bring the picture here. What this kid is doing. I mean, this is awesome. Yeah, it's important to educate yourself with history because you see one problem, and I'll bring this up as an example. Uh, People who don't educate themselves with the facts of history is a lot of times they really make misinformed statements, and they have very bad opinions on stuff because they don't know the facts and what the history is, and people say a lot of stuff. So yeah, that's important. Although it's important to go to different sources, because I'll tell you this, a lot of times if you go to one source, it's like these documentaries. Let's say you listen to Michael Moore. Michael Moore, it's not that he's false, or in other sources, but they love to cherry pick certain things that happened. So let's say you get a history book in your son or daughter's class in middle school, and your son or daughter's in seventh grade. The people who wrote that history book, they're going to cherry pick and leave certain things out about presidents and what happened during the Civil War and what happened, in other parts of history. So yeah, it's important to go to different sources and get informed, what all the facts were and understand both points of view. Just like the statues, a lot of people say, what's wrong with these people and blah, blah, blah. But I hardly see on the news in the Associated Press, they're not talking about a lot of these freaking statues been put up well after the Civil War. And they're in towns where it has nothing to do with the stinking Civil War. So why isn't that getting brought up and saying, hey, you got this small town in Mississippi, they put this stinking thing up in 1905. Why did they put it up in 1905? What was the reason for them putting up? There was no Civil War battle here. There's no museum here. You see, but a lot of times you're not going to get that. You're just going to get the part where it shows a group of people grabbing this statue and ripping it down and say, look what they did, or let's say they show it vandalized. So yeah, it's important to get your information It's from several sources, and we learn from history. Well, some cases we don't, but translated from American Army. Oh, okay. During the Vietnam War. My dad's a Vietnam War vet. Okay. Anyway, I'm going to move on here. The next topic, we're going to get into lighter notes. So we're going to end the. I don't really know that. I don't say I'm wording this wrong. September 11th, 2001. I wouldn't agree with that it was a racist attack. That was just, to me, it was a terrorist attack against our country. When I see people coming running out of this building that were black, white, Hispanic, Indian, all cultures, they didn't care. They didn't care what type of, and then we're talking Muslims, Christians. They were all in those two World Trade Center buildings. The only thing they cared about was killing Americans and attacking our country. They didn't give a damn if the people in that building, if there were some Muslims or Christians or what nationality they were. So I would disagree on as far as September 11th being a racist attack, but that'd be a whole nother topic. I might do that one night about my thoughts with September 11th, along with some of the government cover up with it. Any rate, a good news story here. 15-year-old boy is carving wood flags to support forgotten heroes during the pandemic. This is from 2 days ago, CNN. Okay, here we go. A 15-year-old boy has raised over $13,000 in donations for homeless veterans, special needs children, and first responders by selling and donating wood flags he carves himself. In 2019, Lorenzo met his homeless veteran while serving meals at a food pantry with his church youth group. So that's cool. The 10th grader from Lakewood Ranch, Florida, couldn't understand how someone who saved our country ended up abandoned, he says. He inspired me to change and make a difference, Lorenzo says, after meeting the homeless veteran. After Lorenzo finished his first flag, people in the community wanted their own. So he began selling his historic flags to raise money for forgotten heroes. Lorenzo has made 60 flags since he started in November of 2019. Each flag takes 15 to 20 hours to make. That's over 1,000 hours of work he spent carving and doing these flags. Now, here's a picture of the flags he's doing to raise money for veterans and other heroes. And that's with his father. I'll bring it in, but it's really cool. This is actually not only painted, but it's a piece of wood. How he carves it in here and does the American flag. So let me get to the second part of the story here. Heroic flags. I have a hard time pronouncing that word, but anyway. Where is it? Gained a lot of local and national attention. So he's gained a lot of local and national attention, making these wood-carved American flags to raise money for homeless and other groups. The website sold out of flags within 45 minutes of appearing on Fox and Friends. I have a long waiting list of people still wanting flags. Wow. So when he had his website selling these flags after being featured on Fox and Friends, that's a morning show. He sold out of them within 45 minutes. Lorenzo wants to raise $50,000 to make flags for hospitals most impacted by the COVID-19 in each state. And he has raised $13,641 so far. The net proceeds will go towards homeless veterans as their needs have not diminished during the pandemic, he says in his GoFundMe page. Wow, so he's raising money for the nurses and the people in the hospitals, as well as a lot of the homeless veterans, by doing this project of taking these pieces of wood and carving them out as American flag and painting them. Here's another picture with him and his father. I'll bring that a little closer so you can kind of see it, so I don't get too much of the glare from the lights. But yeah, he's the guy in the white and gray shirt is Lorenzo, and that's his father. He's making the American flags and raising money for hospitals that are on the front lines fighting this COVID-19, as well as the homeless veterans. Man, that is just awesome. and his website's sold out and on back order for doing these. And then he's trying to raise some money. Excuse me. He's trying to raise money because it cost him money too to buy the wood and materials. But man, that's pretty cool, man. And was it 15-year-old boy? Was it? Yeah, 15-year-old kid in 10th grade in high school. And here's that picture again with him and his dad. But that's a really cool, nice American flag. I mean, and that's all wood there, painted and everything. That's just awesome. Oh, what time is it? 11:54 p.m., August 15th here. I'm in Detroit, Michigan. I'm on the Eastern Standard Time Zone. And I'm on the same time zone as like the state of New York City, in Detroit. And then the next time zone starts around Chicago and Illinois Central. They're an hour behind us. Then it goes Mountain and Pacific. Let me get my Red Bull here. Where do we got next here? So yeah, that was a really cool news story. I thought it was worth sharing for sure. Oh, here we go. Rude people rant. This is an interesting story. Oh, only 2 people left. Oh, well, it is getting kind of late. Oh, 3 are here. Okay, I got a rant on rude people. I'm going to tell you a story that happened yesterday. And then I'd love to hear from you guys in the chat. If you have something to say about rude people or something that you might have encountered recently with rude people or something that happened in the past you'll never forget. So anyway, let me get my Red Bull. I'm sitting on my front porch and I'm having my Swisher Sweet and my Snapple, just relaxing. It's in the afternoon, and my neighbor across the street, okay, August 16th. Yeah, you're ahead of us because I believe you're over in England or Ireland there. Yeah, so you're ahead of us on time zone. My neighbor across the street, she's, I believe, Korean or Chinese, and she speaks kind of broken English, but really nice, friendly lady. I mean, you couldn't ask for a better neighbor. Every time she sees me, she waves and says hello to me sometimes. So at any rate, she's out on her front porch too, and she's on her cell phone, talking with somebody. So, gosh, it was a SUV. It pulled up. It was a Ford Explorer, one of these Chevy Blazers. But anyway, it was black in color. This I'll just say car. The car pulls up in the driveway. This guy gets out, and he's got like this briefcase with him, and he's got his ID. Oh, Snapple? Sure, this is Snapple. That's Snapple. They make iced tea and juices. This is the raspberry iced tea. I love Snapples, the fruit punch, the apple, the raspberry iced tea. Anyway, back to my story. This is my rude people rant, and then I love to hear from you guys. So I'm sitting there. I'm having my Swisher Sweet. It's a cigar, little cigar. And I'm having my Snapple, drinking my iced tea. And she's it was a nice day out, I think it was about 3:30 in the afternoon. Anyway, so the car pulls up in the driveway and the guy gets out and he's got his briefcase and he's got like this little lanyard or string around his neck with this like big tag. I can see it's like an ID tag. So he gets out of the vehicle, walks right up to her. She's on the phone. Says, ma'am, I'm with the U.S. Census Bureau. The Census Bureau, they every 10 years, they go around to get a population count for each state. And it deals with our electoral college, as well as how much money a state, a county, a city should receive by the people that live there and how many people live there. Anyway, so she's on her phone. The guy doesn't say, excuse me, ma'am, or with the Census Bureau, can I please speak to you for a minute? No. He comes up, I'm with the U.S. Census Bureau. I need to ask. No, he didn't even say I need. He says, I have a few questions here. I have to get answered. And then the lady puts her phone down. Hello, what's going on? He goes, yeah. Your census information hasn't been turned in yet. I have to get it. And he pulls out this sheet, like a couple sheets here, and he gets his pen. Now, you live at this residence with such and such and such and such and and he's going through these 10 or 12 questions. He asks a question. She says, yes, I am my husband and my daughter. My daughter is in and out with college. And yes, I'm an American citizen. And I only think they asked a citizen. Anyway, he goes on with these 10 or 12 questions. And the only thing he said that was halfway nice, he's like, I appreciate, or no, he didn't even say I appreciate. He goes, oh, thank you very much. Have a great day, or something like that. And he hops back in his car, boom, leaves. But you talk about rude people. If some asswipe came up to me, I'm on my porch, okay, having my cigar and my Snapple, and says, hey, I'm with the Census Bureau, blah. I'll say I'm busy. You'll have to come back another day. Or I get up and turn my back and go inside my house. You can come back and visit me another freaking time. You know, you what's the old saying? You get more with a pound of sugar than a pound of bricks. If someone from the Census Bureau comes up and you approach me and say, oh, hello, sir, I'm with the U.S. Census Bureau. I'm looking for Ed such and such. My first name is Ed. And I say, yes, that's me. So, you know what I'm saying? If you come up and you're polite and you approach me in that manner, and let's say there's an issue where the Census Bureau didn't get some information from me, hey, I'll be more than happy to help you out. But if you're going to come up being rude, you ain't going to get nothing from me. I'll either get up and turn my back to you and go in the house, or I tell you I'm busy, come back another day, you know. But yeah, I was taken back because not only was he rude, but it was like it's like what he does is he uses an intimidation factor, trying to intimidate her, oh, I'm going to call the cops and have you taken to jail if you don't answer these census questions. Go after yourself. That's how I felt. I'm watching this and I'm just shaking my head. And this poor lady, she doesn't speak English too well. She's Korean or Chinese. She speaks kind of, broken English. So she might not know what all her rights are. But yeah, it's just when I saw that, I kept thinking to myself, there's a great example of a rude person. But I'm curious if you guys, I got three on the live right now. If you guys have anything as far as, if you've dealt or with rude people or anything that you'd want to say, or were you ever in New Hampshire? No, I was never in New Hampshire. No. No, I've been to New York. I've been to New York a few times. But it's been years. Any rate, yeah, that's it for rude people, Any thoughts or questions on that? If not, I'll move on to my next topic here. But that was something I saw yesterday, and it just made me think. And I said, this is something I'll talk about in my broadcast. It's happened several times in our life. Either we see and we witness rude people, or we actually deal with, rude people. So what are you going to do? I pretty much go by the old saying, in the thought that I'll treat you like how you treat me. So if you approach me in a rude manner and you treat me like a piece of garbage, that's exactly how I'm going to treat you. If you come up to me and you're respectful and polite, that's how I'll treat you as well. Okay, anyway, that was my little rant about something I witnessed yesterday and made me think about rude people. Okay, here we go. FDA grants emergency use authorization for saliva COVID-19 tests that have fast results. Let me get to it here. Yep, here it is. This is from, I'll just put it back here. I got to turn and rotate it because the light don't block it. I got the article I printed up on the sheet of paper here. Okay, this is from the Washington Examiner. They're a major newspaper, Associated Press newspaper, August 15th, 2020. Okay, so that was just Saturday. All right, FDA, that's the Food and Drug Administration here in America, grants emergency use authorization for a saliva COVID-19 test that has fast results. Okay, here we go. The Food and Drug Administration granted emergency use authorization for saliva-based testing system that can return accurate results in less than 3 hours. Wow, that's cool. The saliva direct test is conducted using saliva collected in a container without a swab and has a sensitivity of results similar to the nasal swabs. That's the ones I was talking about earlier, where they cram that up in your mouth. What's the difference between mouth test and nose test? I'll get to that in a second, Unified Gaming. Let me finish reading this here. Where am I here? Okay, which have been used to test for the COVID-19 since the start of the pandemic. That's the nasal test. The FDA announced its emergency use authorization on Saturday, according to CNN. Another major advantage is that up to 92 samples can be tested at once. So not only is the test faster, but they can test a lot more doing this saliva test versus the current one with the nasal. Researchers have estimated a cost of $10 per test or sample. The United States has the most confirmed cases of COVID-19 in the world, standing at around 5.3 million cases and nearly 170,000 deaths. Wow. So that currently, according to this news article from the Washington Examiner, as well as they got some information from CNN, the U.S. Right now is the most in the world at 5.3 million cases and nearly 170,000 deaths. Okay, now the two types of tests, and I've had this back in May. The nasal test for the COVID-19. All right, now people that can get that have the COVID-19, that will be most likely in your mucous membranes up here where I'm pointing. I'll use my pen; it's easier. Right way up here is where most it is. I would say it's all through your body, but where they'll pick it up, that virus up in your mucous membrane, as well as down in the back of your throat. So the test that they currently use with that cotton swab, when I had this done, they got to cram that thing way up there and put it around and get a good little piece of the mucus on that cotton swab, put it in a container. And mine took like about 3.5 days before I got my results back that I was negative when I had this done in late May. So that's why the current test will do. And some places will take that, let's say that long cotton swab right in the mouth, and they go all the way into the back of the throat to pick up that virus because it'll be way up in the mucous membrane or back of the throat. And when they put it in there, they got to send it off to a nearby laboratory. And I believe it's like 24 hours it takes. Yeah, I mean, but you're in Ireland, so shoot, I mean, Ireland's maybe the state of Maine when you're talking the population of America. Yeah, it's still too many deaths, too many cases. You know, we're at 5.3 million cases right now, nearly 170,000 deaths, according to the Washington Examiner and CNN. So, any rate, the saliva test can be done in approximately 3 hours and not have to be done quite the same as the current nasal test. And then they can sample, it said in here, 92 samples can be tested at one time, where I guess it can't be that quick with the current testing. So this will be an easier test and a much quicker test. So, that's good. Getting people tested and identified with this tricky disease or virus, I should say. A lot of people, I read that news article out of Jefferson Parish County Jail, where New Orleans is. A lot of people, these inmates, half the jail population had COVID-19 and didn't even know it. Because that's the scary thing with this. It's not quite like the flu, where most people get the flu. They'll find out in a day or two. They're going to get symptoms real bad. They're going to get that fever, the chills, the shakes. These people get cold. Some people get COVID-19. Doesn't even affect them. They don't even know they had the thing. And they call it, I think they refer to it as asymptomatic, where other people get it, and they're on their deathbed on a ventilator or needing that hydrochloroquine. There's bad side effects with it, but there has been research that showed that the hydrochloroquine, which is an anti-malaria drug, has saved lives. And there's been several stories of people that saved a life too. But that's the tricky thing with this damn this COVID-19. A lot of people get it, have no clue they have it. And that's why we got to, have these masks to keep it from spreading. A mask, and this comes from several different sources, that it is not effective of you breathing it in. What the mask is mainly used for is to stop the spread. So someone who is asymptomatic don't know they have it. If they cough or sneeze, they got that mask on. It keeps them from spreading that because it's an airborne virus. So that's the biggest point of having that mask on, is to keep people from spreading it. But anyway, yeah, I feel that's a good thing. They got a quicker test. It's going to be done soon. That's coming out, the FDA, a saliva test, and then they can test more, and it can be done faster. Yeah, you do have less than 5 million there, yeah. Okay, this is a cool story. Let me get this here. And I took the picture. I was going to print this right up. I got it from the BBC, British Broadcasting Corporation. It's August 15th. And I was going to print the thing up, and it said like 12 or 15 freaking pages. So I just got the gist of the article, and I took the map and the picture, and I got it all on a sheet here. Australian surfer saves wife by punching shark. Oh, wow. Full lockdown. Yeah. We were on pretty much a full lockdown here. We're on my state in America, Michigan, back like in April. We had that stay-at-home order. By the executive order of our governor in my state, each state has a governor, and then we have our president over here in America, Unified Gaming. But and I'll get to the surfer story, but on your comment first. We had a similar order, executive order, like a lockdown order, but we weren't allowed to travel to even go see like family or friends. We were only allowed to travel to go to like a store or a pharmacy and pick up, medicine. There was certain places they had to be deemed essential needs places, and every other place was forced, was shut down, was not essential needs. For example, like a barber shop during late March, April, and early May, barbershops weren't even open till like mid-June. They were deemed non-essential. Luckily, I got on the ball quick, though. I ordered some nice clippers. I got these Oster Model 10, and I got a couple family members that can give a good haircut. But yeah, we were on that stay-at-home lockdown. And then, as a matter of fact, with my job, my employer I had a sheet printed up like this, and it had my employer on it. And it stated that I was an essential needs worker, because I think it was after like 10 or 11 o'clock, you weren't supposed to be traveling around in your car or going anywhere unless you were essential needs, and there was a few other exceptions. But basically, that was a lockdown order. The only thing that would be a step up from that is martial law, but that's a whole nother topic, what martial law is and how that gets put into place here in America. Oh, wow. Okay, 2 kilometers. Now, we go by miles per hour, and I forget what the kilometer miles per hour ratio is. But yeah, that was similar to what we had in my state. But we still have restrictions. For example, there's only so many people allowed in a building or a business per square foot. And like when I go to the store, they got like things on the ground, like pieces of tape and markings where you got to be at least 6 feet apart from the next person. So if you're waiting in line to ring up your crap and you want to put it on that conveyor belt, if let's say there's a lady with her 2 kids still standing there, you got to wait till she gets well past her register and her stuff is in there before you could start loading it up on the conveyor belt, because you got to be at least 6 feet apart, that social distancing. But I understand it's for people's safety. Yeah. Anyway, hey, let me get to the story here. Australian surfer saves wife by punching a shark. Wow, this is cool. August 15th, 2020, the British Broadcasting Corporation. Oh, okay. Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah, 1 mile is 1.6 kilometers. Yeah, that sounds about right. Anyway, let me get to this. A man leapt from, meaning a man jumped. He leapt. Anyway, I'll read it as jumped. A man jumped from his surfboard onto a shark that was attacking his wife, repeatedly punching the animal, meaning he punched the shark repeatedly until it let go of his wife. This Australian media report. What is it? Oh, Christian Doyle, 35 years old, was surfing off, is it Shelley Beach at Port something here, New South Wales. So he was surfing off a beach off of New South Wales when the shark attack took place. Okay. Her husband punched the shark until it released his grip and then helped Mrs. Doyle, that's his wife, to shore. She was airlifted to a hospital with serious injuries to her right leg. Mrs. Doyle was flown to Newcastle Hospital for surgery and was in stable condition, is last reported. And let me show you the map here on this, and we'll talk about this. This is the map I printed up off the BBC, but Australia, this is east side, yeah, just above Sydney. So where this shark attack took place, here's Sydney, Australia, and it's just above Sydney, Australia, where the shark attack took place. And man, that's cool. So the guy saw his wife, getting chomped by a great white shark. Man, he jumped off that board. It was just like adrenaline and boom, 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 punch in the eye. I have seen some of that Discovery Channel. It's a cable channel, did the Shark Week. Yeah, I won't talk about where I work. And I'll say this. I work for the city of Detroit. I'm not a police officer. I know some people might say, are you a police officer? No, I'm not a police officer. And I work in the city of Detroit. That's as far as I'll go on that. Any rate, to the story here. This guy jumped off his freaking board and hit that shark. Now, I did watch, I don't know if a lot of you guys have seen on Discovery Channel, they do usually do it in late July. They have Shark Week, and it's like a whole week long of just 24 hours of different shark shows and shark documentaries. And I watched one of them. There was a few years back, and they said, though, like if you ever had like a hammerhead or a tiger shark, a great white, that ever clamped onto you, one of the best things to do to get them to clamp off is you get a fist and you hit the eyes if you can, if they're on the side of the head, like let's say like a tiger shark, a sand shark, great white shark. But if you hit the eyes, it really, a lot of times it'll irritate that shark and it'll let go of your leg or your arm, whatever that shark grabbed onto. A lot of times the sharks do is they mistaken you for, something else, especially a lot of surfers get attacked. But at any rate, yeah, he got on there and started punching that freaking shark because his wife got grabbed by a shark. And thank God, they airlifted her to a hospital and got her medical attention in time to save her life. And I guess she's in stable condition now. And that was just north of Sydney, Australia, on the east coast. New South Wales, Australia is where Sydney is, the east coast of Australia. But wow, what a story, huh? Wife getting attacked by a shark and jumped off his board. And, hey, you shark, I got something for you. Boom, boom. That is pretty cool, by the way, before we move on here. Not just the story, but man, I enjoy that. I've watched it. I did miss part of it. I think it was just on not too long ago, that Shark Week they have on Discovery Channel. And it's all kinds of different shows and different types of sharks as well. A lot of people love the great white sharks because they're so big. And also, too, they're, the teeth on them things. But some of these scientists, they do some really good research. They tag these sharks and they find out where they're migrating, where they're mating, what waters they like to go to. And it helps them study a lot, with the sharks. And as well as they also find out, too, information that helps us. What is it that makes sharks attack? Where do they attack? What time, meaning like what time of year, what places are they usually at? What are their feeding habits? And all that information, a lot of that helps too, like these public beaches and stuff. So certain times of year, especially like Australia or South Africa, they'll close certain beaches down if they can't put in safety netting and whatnot, because they'll know it's just too dangerous. And other times of year, it's very seldom. But even here in America, we've had the shark attacks along, our coast in California to up to towards our New England area states to, down south, Carolinas, Floridas, the different types of sharks and that. But yeah, I thought that was interesting, and I love watching that Shark Week. Anybody got anything to say on that or anything they want to talk about with that, or I'll move on here. Oh, okay. Up in Ireland, you don't have any sharks there. No. See, now I live in Michigan and we're the Great Lakes state, but there's only one breed of shark that actually goes into fresh water, and they don't come as far as the Great Lakes, like Lake Erie, Lake St. Clair, Lake Michigan. And I think it's called the blue shark, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, no, the bull shark. And these bull sharks have gone up like the Amazon River off the Atlantic Ocean and other waterways in Central America. And they can actually they will attack like a great white too, if provoked. There have been attacks on humans, but these bull sharks, I think it's, if I'm not mistaken, bull shark, they can live and swim in fresh water and salt water. But no sharks there. Okay. Yep. But really, what doesn't get talked about, because it's just people get fascinated with sharks, though, is one of the more deadly things you really got to be careful going in the ocean with is some freaking jellyfish. Some of those types of jellyfish, man, they just brush up against you. It'll just paralyze you, and you'll drown and die, let alone go in the hospital and be in real bad shape. The jellyfish there. Okay, anyway, a couple more stories here. Oh, yeah, this is a cool one here. Let me get to this. All right. Well, I got 3 people still with me. McNikram or Life Naya, are you still here? I got Unified Gaming. Well, I'm kind of split on before I get to this story with climate change. Yeah, climate does change, but there is pollution. But as far as the theory, okay, McNikram, thanks for being here. Cool, awesome. Oh, your Wi-Fi. Yeah, I get that. I got this AT&T internet, and I used to have Comcast. It was much faster and better, but then the freaking Comcast, they kept jacking their rates up. So I switched to AT&T a few years back, and AT&T, yeah, it's cheaper, and then they're more honorable company to deal with when they said this is the price and everything, but their internet is not as great, and I have Wi-Fi issues often with the AT&T versus the Comcast. I feel you. Where was I before I get into this Michael Jordan shoe story? Climate change. See, with the whole global warming, we're forced, as far as colleges go, a lot, and people all the like, yeah, your Wi-Fi is terrible. Okay, I got you. Yeah, so I'm not alone. I get Wi-Fi issues often with my AT&T. Oh, anyway, real quick on this with the climate change and global warming. As far as our ozone layer disappearing and being affected greatly because of the carbon emissions, this is what the global warming climate change people like to tell you, okay? And they say, hey, like Al Gore is a really well-known figure. He was a former vice president here in America. The debate is over. It's acknowledged. There's climate change. There's global warming. Whoa. The problem is, listen to me close, everybody. I got 3 people here. They never allowed a debate. They never allowed it. You're deemed and you're shut down when you say, I'm sorry, I don't agree with your theory on the whole climate change. Okay? Here's some things that they won't tell you. Now they tell you how all the ice is breaking down in Antarctica and up in the Arctic Ocean. True. And this comes from NASA. All right? There's been record snowfalls that have come. Why were there ice ages in the past when there was no carbon emissions? If this is, it's quote unquote global warming and climate change. Now, I am all for, recycling and having better products where we don't pollute the air. That is true. It's a fact, man. You go to Mexico City and other places, even in Los Angeles, the pollution is something real and that needs to be dealt with. But this whole thing that we have this massive global warming and that's the blame for everything, and No, I'm not with that. But I am all for more energy efficient products, from refrigerators to air conditioners, better cleaning fuels that go in our cars. I'm all for that. But it's that those are my thoughts when it comes to the climate change or global warming. And let me say this, because I know some people, if they're watching this, might get upset or angry. It's just my opinion. All right. We're just doing a show. It's okay if you disagree with me. I have no qualms about that. It's not that I'm always right. This is the late night show. I'm hosting it. So, hey, it's everywhere. Okay, let me check the chat here before we move on. 2 years ago, we had a bad snowstorm. It lasted 2 weeks. We had severe snow as ever. Yeah, exactly. Yep. You see that those are things, though, that the people, but like I said earlier, this is the problem. And this goes on a lot of in academics. I'm talking in colleges. Oh my God, you'd be vilified if you go in any college in America, just about any major college, and you tell them global warming is a bunch of BS. See, what I'm getting at is what you're fed is they cherry pick certain facts and stuff that goes on, and they'll leave other things out that could contradict their theory. And just like I brought up a few simple points, they don't want to bring up the fact that they're having record snowfalls in Antarctica and up there by the Arctic Ocean, and it's been recorded by NASA. They don't want to bring up the fact that we've had ice ages before. We didn't have no carbon emissions hundreds and hundreds of years ago when we've had ice ages. But see, that's the problem you get sometimes is that when you get on topics like the global warming, for example, and same thing, let's take the topic of pro-choice, pro-life. Okay, I don't want to get into politics. I'm just using it. This is a quick example. Depending who you talk to someone who's liberal and pro-choice or someone who's conservative and pro-life, they're going to cherry pick the facts and what they want to tell you, what they want you to hear to get you to side with them. Then it's very seldom you're going to get somebody say, hey, I'm pro-choice, such and such and such. But I do also want to put out there, this is where the other side of pro-life come from, and such and such and such. Very seldom you'll get that, and I'm just using this as an analogy. That's a problem when it comes to global warming and climate change is the one side that says this is BS, and I'm on that side with my opinion and belief in it, is they shut them out and they cherry pick certain facts and information, and that's what they want to tell you, because this way they can get more people on board with them and say, oh my God, Al Gore was right. We got massive global warming. Everything's to blame. Let me see here. In Ireland, we don't really have a president, but we have a person called Taoicech, and he wanted us a something. Now, okay, wait. He wanted all of us vegetarian, but in a YouTube ad he said he loved meat. Wow, that's interesting. Now, I don't know too much about how the government's set up in Ireland. I do know in England, they got the prime minister, and similar to our Congress, they have the House of Lords and the House of Commons. I believe the House of Lords, it's been some years since I studied this. Oh, Taoiseach. Okay. The House of Lords, they have a similar system in England. Well, like Canada, not all of Canada vote for their president or prime minister, whatever they call him, that Justin Trudeau in Canada. In Canada, you basically vote for the party, and the party elects it, other than if you live in that certain province and stuff. But what are you going to do, Yeah, but that's a great example too, though. You got a lot of hypocrites as well, but that I'm just saying in general, you always be mindful and look into stuff on your own, because people, when they tell you on an issue, whether it's, let's say, pro-choice, pro-life, it's climate change, no climate change, they're gonna come at you with their facts and their information and other stuff that they're not aware of, or if they are aware of, they're going to leave out and not talk about it because they want you to side with their theory, their line of thinking, you know. Anyway, let me get on to this. This is a cool story. Michael Jordan shoes auctioned for $615,000, setting new record. This is from the UPI website, August 14, 2020. $615,000, man, for a pair of Michael Jordan shoes. Wow. Oh, I'm doing terrific. Thank you for showing up. So anyway, before I get to this, if you haven't seen it, and this is something you find a little interesting, I got a video I did, sneakers from the 1980s, and my actual picture logo is the same pair of these shoes that sold for $615,000. But there's a reason this particular pair sold for that. I'm going to read it right now to you. A pair of shoes worn by Michael Jordan during a 1985 basketball game. Where am I here? Yeah, a basketball game where he broke the world record when they sold for $615,000 at auction. So these are a pair of shoes he wore in a 1985 basketball game, and they sold for $615,000 at an auction. And I'll get into more on this. Auction house Christie's said the Nike Air Jordan 1s, high sneakers worn by the basketball legend during a game, and he had this game over in Italy, apparently, Michael Jordan did, were autographed by Michael Jordan himself, described the auctioneer. A one-of-a-kind Michael Jordan artifact. Not only were they autographed by Michael Jordan, and they were the first Michael Jordan shoes that came out, and these were worn by him at a basketball game over in Italy, the shoes were billed as especially unique due to a shred of glass embedded in the sole of the left shoe as a result of Jordan shattering a glass backboard with a forceful slam dunk. So, I'll get to your comments in just a second. The $615,000 final price for the shoes broke a record set by another pair of the players' shoes, which sold for $560,000 earlier in 2020. Christie's, that's the auction house, said another pair of Jordan shoes worn during a 1992 game sold for $112,000 as part of the same auction. Wow. Okay, so they had another pair of Jordan shoes that sold for $112,500. Now, these pair of shoes that set a record for $615,000, these Michael Air Jordan shoes, I'll show you a picture. If you've ever seen the logo the iconic logo, Michael Jordan logo, which I'm sure you have, unless you've been living in Antarctica, where his hand is up like this, and he's like, let me scoot down, and he's dunking on that rim, the glass backboard. But this was a game he played over in Italy in 1985, and he shattered the backboard, probably doing that one-handed or two-handed dunk Michael Jordan did. There's a small shred of glass in one of the shoes, and then he autographed the shoes Michael Jordan did, and they're the very first pair of Jordans that came out by Nike. So that's why they got $615,000 at Christie's auction house. Now, this is a picture of them, and I have the same picture. I'll hold it here for you guys. Oh, you do? Okay, yeah. These are the exact pair of shoes. And you could see, I'll kind of turn this so you could see. But if you look here, you see the wear on it, where the coloring or the paint is kind of chipping off up here too. But these are the pair of shoes he wore when he did that slam dunk and broke the glass board. And a small piece of glass was stuck in one of the shoes there, and he autographed these shoes. $615,000. Okay, cool. You remember that game. And I have a video, sneakers from the 1980s. And then I use these pair of sneakers right here. Let me take this out. These are the first issue of Michael Jordan shoe sneakers. And I have this in my video, sneakers from the 1980s. It's in my, if you click on my videos for my YouTube channel, InfoSpot 401. I use this sneaker as my template, and as well as it's in there as far as one of the most iconic pair of Nike shoes from the 1980s. These shoes, once I get a sip of Snapple here, these shoes here, actually, there was another pair of Nikes. They were Top Flight or something. They're identical to these. With the first pair that came out, all they did was it was already a pair of Nikes that they had, but they put the color on it, the red and black and white color, and then they put the Michael Jordan logo. This is the first one kind of right here, the Air Jordan logo right up here in the corner on them. But they had a similar pair, the same pair of Nikes, I should say, like these. They call them Top Flight or something, and they were the same damn shoe as the original Michael Jordan shoes in '85. But I'll share something else, my own experience with these shoes. I was in, I think, 5th or 6th grade. Yeah, I'll get to that in just a second, McNikrum, if we can go back to that. I'm talking about these Michael Jordan shoes that set a record of $615,000. So anyway, do I watch MLS? Major League Soccer? No, I have watched the World Cup. I'm not the biggest soccer fan, but I do have a lot of respect for that sport. I have watched the World Cups, if that's what you're referring to. Anyway, back to the shoes real quick, just wrapping this up. I was in 5th or 6th grade. I'm in my 40s now. When these Air Jordans first came out in '85, and 15,000. No, these Michael Jordan shoes sold for $615,000, setting a new record, because these were the exact shoes he wore when he did that slam dunk at a game in Italy in 1985, and he autographed them, and there was actually a piece of glass in one of those shoes, so it's a big-time collector's item. But right here, it's off the UPI website. They had the news story. So anyway, when those shoes first came out, I was in, and I'll get to your live chat, so don't worry, I haven't ignored you. When the shoes first came out in '85, I was in 5th or 6th grade, and okay, on the football. When they came out, I remember they were like, and this was a big deal. We're talking 1985. Those things were selling at like Foot Locker and a few of these other like major shoe stores for like $95 to like $110. And that was quite a bit of cashola to pay for a freaking pair of shoes. And we're talking 1985. I was a little kid then. And I remember a couple kids in my class got them shoes, you know, and some of the teachers would be like, wow, your parents sprung for $100 pair of shoes. That's crazy. Everybody was saying, that's crazy. That's crazy. Man, if I would have bought a pair of them stinking shoes and left them in the box untouched, I'd easily get 50 G's or more for those things. Those shoes get big freaking money, those Michael Air Jordans, especially the first issue ones right here, man. And I'll get to the live chat now. But yeah, if you find this kind of interesting, I got that video, Sneakers in the 1980s, and they're in there. Okay, let me get to the live chat and see what we got going on here. Yeah, it is. It is. Yeah, that is really cool. I'll get to rude people. I can go back to that in a second, McNikrum. Soccer. You know, it's interesting, unified gaming, as you say your favorite sport is football. Over in Europe, they refer to soccer as football. Well, here in America and Canada, our football is a whole different sport. That's our National Football League. It's a whole different sport, like American football versus soccer. Now, soccer, also referred to as football, is the biggest sport worldwide. But in America, pretty much by the time we're colleges, soccer it dies out. They've tried getting soccer and making it mainstream like basketball, baseball, or American football and hockey, but it's just never taken off. But we do get a lot of buzz with soccer with the World Cup and the Olympics when those come around. Yeah, our football sport, and I'll get you McNikrum in just a second. Our sport of football, American football, is mostly, as you probably have known or seen, it's like it's a kind of a cone-shaped ball, the football, and it's mostly being thrown and run. And now one part of the sport, they actually kick it off twice in the sport when they kick off the ball, punt the ball, and as well as kicking field goals. But yeah, two different things. My two favorite sports are bowling and NFL football. As you see me, I'm a big Bears fan. I live in Detroit, and I do have a Detroit Lions jersey, but in Detroit, we have a saying called SOL, and it's not the SOL you think of. SOL in Detroit, someone who lives here will tell you it means same old Lions. That the team's been so pitiful for so freaking long. I think we only had one really good year in my lifetime in that so far, and that was in the early 90s. We made it to the NFC Championship, but we got beat by the Redskins. Anyway, yeah, but my two favorite sports, answer your question, NFL football and soccer. Rude people, McNikram. Yeah, I was talking about, let me get my Snapple, and I'll go right back to that quick. And I'll get to the last story here. I was on my porch the other day, beautiful day out, have my Swisher Sweet, it's a cigar, and my Snapple. And I have a neighbor across the street, not going over the whole thing again. I'll get to that question in a second, Unified Gaming. So anyway, my neighbor, she speaks somewhat broken English. She's Korean or Chinese, and so she doesn't speak English too well, just bringing her nationality up because of this. So anyway, a guy pulls up in the driveway, McNikram, gets out. He's got this lanyard with an ID badge and a briefcase with him, and she's on her cell phone talking to family or somebody. Walks right up, says, ma'am, I'm with the U.S. Census Bureau. I need to get some information from you, or I have to get some information from you right now. And then she's like, oh, hold on, blah, 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 on the phone. And then this guy starts like, now, do you live here with such and such and such and such? Now, is this your permanent residence? And he's asking like these 12 questions. And he just said like, oh, thanks. Have a good day now, or something like that. And as he's filling out this freaking sheet. Real rude, came up to her with this, from the Census Bureau, fills the sheet out, puts it in his briefcase, hops back in his car and leaves. And I'm watching this and I'm thinking, that'd be a topic for my show. This guy was so freaking rude, McNikram. If someone came up to me and I'm sitting down especially on my own property, says, I'm with the Census Bureau. You ain't gonna, if you approach me nice and you treat me with respect, that's what I'll give back to you. I would have said, I'm busy. You'll have to come back later. Oh, Life of Naya 06. Okay, cool. Thanks for being here. So anyway, that's what I was talking about with rude people. Or I just get up and say, you'll have to come back another time and go in my house. Don't be rude to me. Don't approach me like that, because either I'm just going to ignore you, or you're going to bring out the worst in me. But it goes back to an old saying I said earlier. You get more with a pound of sugar than you do with a pound of bricks. You can always be polite and nice. Even if she forgot and neglected this census deal, you come up, you be nice. Hey, ma'am, I'm with the U.S. Census Bureau. I'm sorry to bother you and inconvenience you. It's important I get this information. Can I have 2 minutes of your time? Man, if you approach somebody like that, you'd be surprised at just, how nice they can be to you. But yeah, I wouldn't put up with that nonsense. And in two, it's intimidation. He's trying to intimidate her like this guy's some agent with the FBI. And if you don't answer my questions, I'm going to place you under arrest and take you in there. Just a freaking rude person, a jerk. But that's what I brought up, McNikram, as far as the rude people, my little rant from what happened yesterday. Yes, Life and Naya, you always can. Yep. Oh, your question, Unified Gaming. Do I like rugby? I've seen it before. It's not really my thing, rugby. Oh, says InfoSpot. Kind of. Yes, it does. What happened yesterday, Life of Naya? Oh, is that my story I was talking about? This is what happened yesterday when I was on my porch around 3:00 or 3:30. This census taker that came up to my neighbor and was extremely rude. That's what I was talking about. And I just brought up the story as a talking point, a conversation topic, but, I'm sure we all relate to that. We've had, yeah, I hate rude people as well. It's one of those things too. Gosh, I forget who the hell told me this, but, Yeah, a bit of respect goes a long way. It certainly does. It certainly does. I'm just what was I just thinking of? It was something to do with polite and respectful. It never hurts to be polite and respectful. It is it just like law enforcement. A lot of law enforcement, I'm just using this as an example, they get themselves in big trouble. A lot of them do. And I'm not talking to the point of killing somebody. I'm just talking in trouble because it gets to, I had a verbal judo video I did, and I talk about this. But you got to control your emotions. So even when you're really angry or upset, so even if that Census Bureau taker was upset, let's say they mailed 2 census forms out to this lady, or they sent her 3 or 4 emails and no response, he came up there and was either angry and upset, or that was his tack to intimidate people. And either way, it's just being flat out rude. Yes, it does. Yeah, an act of kindness. Yes, it does. So as mad as or angry as I'll be upset, I'll always stay polite and be respectful. I've had times where I've gotten into it at retail places like Walmart, Myers. Myers is a store in the Detroit, Michigan area. And I went back and forth with people, and I've been on the phone with customer service, but I don't raise my voice. I don't use the vulgar language. I stay respectful because you'll get a lot further, than being rude, And that was just a topic point. As I saw this yesterday, I'm witnessing what this stupid census taker was doing. I'm like, I'm going to talk about rude people and the census taker. Yeah. If some, like I say, wrapping this up, if some census taker pulled up my driveway and treated me like that, I'll just say, I'm busy. You'll have to come back another day. And I turn my back and go in my house. Or the minute he come up and try to intimidate me like that, I just get up, turn my back to him, go in my house, But yeah, either way, it was just flat out rude. Okay, I got one more news topic here in my outline, and as well, I have my description box. This is kind of a cool story. I saw this. This too is from the UPI website. UPI website puts a lot of like funny news stories out and interesting news stories, odd news stories. I love going on there and finding stuff for my show. I do. Anyway, a Maryland man breaks the state record with a 14.1 pound sheephead fish. Let me read this here. I just took part of the article. A Maryland man set a new state record when he was fishing. Is it Chapstick? I think it's Chapstick Bay. Anyway, off some bay here in Maryland. Reeled in a 14.1 pound sheephead fish. The sheephead weighed at a whopping 14.1 pounds, beating the previous record of 13.73 pounds set by angler Dave Elvenberg in 2017. So the previous record for the sheephead fish in 2017 was 13.73 pounds, and this guy just broke it with a 14.1 pound sheephead fish. This is kind of like a cathead type fish. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Servant David. Yes, thank you. And I'll get a couple channel drops here again. I'm going to do a couple channel drops. I know I did some earlier, but I'll do a couple more while you guys are here. We're not connected. Anyway, here, let me show you the picture of this. This is a freaking big fish. Let me just get it in the camera so you can see it. And I got my little blue pen. But this is the 14 pound sheephead fish. He set a record in Maryland catching. Wow, that he put this picture on Facebook or Twitter here, and it was in the news story. But look at the size of this sucker. Talk about huge. Wow. I mean, that thing is from the bottom of its fin here till the mouth of the fish. I mean, this damn thing stretches, as you can see in the picture, from his head down to his waist. I believe a sheephead fish is kind of like a type of catfish, But man, that's cool though. He caught that huge fish. Holy cats. Yeah, talk about big for sure. I'll put it up here again here for you guys. Me bring it in close to the webcam. Yeah, you can see how huge that fish is. That's a new world. I mean, not a world record, but that's a new state record in the Maryland. That's where Baltimore is. There, kind of in the New England area, the state of Maryland. Caught this 14-pound sheephead fish. I said, "Wow, that's pretty cool, man." That thing. He must have had at least. Well, some of those fishing lines I've seen. It depends. You know, you get the fishing line. They test rate them for a certain pound. So like you can get, depending on what you're fishing for, like up to 100-pound fishing line. So like if you're going out marlin fishing, which are big heavy fish, so he must have had at least a 15-pound line on there that wouldn't break when he's probably reeling that thing in. But man, a fish that big, that probably was a nice fight just trying to reel in that fish. Yeah, yeah, it is. It is a huge fish for sure. Wow, it is. It is just massive, massively huge. Let me put everything here. I might be going up north Monday. I got to see my family for a day. I will have probably my next video I'm going to be doing. I do have a drink review. I had stuff going on today, so I might upload that probably tomorrow or tomorrow night as a video spoiler. I did a drink review on Smirnoff Blueberry Vodka. And one of the things I love blueberries in is I love blueberry pie and I love blueberry pancakes, man. I absolutely love blueberry pancakes. So, any rate, I saw I was walking through the liquor aisle in Myers where they have the beer, the liquor, and juices and all that. It's like 2 aisles. The store I go to. I'll get to that in just a second where I'll be going. So, any rate, as I'm going through the aisle, I noticed they had oh, you're in Connecticut. Okay, I'm in Michigan. I'll get to that 1 second. Let me just finish the story up on my video. I happened to notice as I was looking through Smirnoff, I did have a few years back, I was at a pool party and they have like a raspberry or cherry vodka Smirnoff does, and it was okay. And so anyway, I'm walking through and I see this and it had the label on it, said blueberry vodka. I said, wow, I got to try that. That'd make a great drink review. You know, I haven't tried that before and I like blueberries. Everybody's making apple stuff. I seen apple Jack Daniels and apple Crown Royal, a lot of apple, but that's the first time blueberry. So anyway, I'll have a drink review out. It's the Smirnoff Vodka Blueberry. Now, when it comes to vodkas, I'm usually my two go-to vodkas when I do mixed drinks is that Sky Vodka and Absolute. And I use that in quite a few of my videos when I've made like different cocktails. But I did one not too long ago. I got to say, I really, really like it. Is that coconut Sky Vodka. Oh, was that stuff good. Woo. But anyway, my next video coming up, I'll be dropping is going to be a drink review, blueberry Smirnoff vodka. Okay, let me see what I got in the chat here. Okay, first question. Up north where? I'm up north. Okay, I'm in the state of Michigan, and I live just outside Detroit, Michigan. I'm like maybe 10 minutes, about 10, 15 minutes from Detroit, Michigan. I'm going up to northern Michigan, and I'll be near a place called Indian River, Michigan. It's going to be about a half hour south of Mackinac City. Now, Mackinac City is the city in the northern lower peninsula. We have the upper peninsula in Michigan, and we call it the northern the lower peninsula. Well, it's not a peninsula, but the northern lower they refer to it as. And Indian River is just south of Mackinac City. We have the huge Mackinac Bridge, which connects our upper peninsula to the main state, or the main part of our state, the northern lower of Michigan. With me, I'm more apple juice. Now, I do love orange juice, though, more when it's breakfast time. So, if, let's say I go to IHOP or Coney Island. I love Coney Islands for breakfast. I'll get the scrambled eggs, bacon, hash browns, toast. I'll get orange juice all the time, every day. Apple juice I love during the day, though. I do love apple juice. So that's my answer. I'm more of an apple juice guy, but if it's early morning time, orange juice always to me is the go-to with breakfast. But yeah, to answer your question, David, I'll be up in Indian River, Michigan. You could type in Indian River, Michigan on Google and it'll pull it up where I am. It's going to be in the northern part there for a day. I'll plan on going up Monday. But Sunday afternoon or Sunday evening, I'm going to upload my next video will be that drink review. When I'm going to try to do my next live, like Tuesday night or Wednesday, I'll have more time. Let me change my light. It's getting a little dark. I mean the battery. 1 second, everybody. I got the battery here in my light. Let me change this. Okay, here we are. Sorry about that. I've said this a few different times. The tripod in my light, I got a portable, nice LED light, but when I put the battery in, I only get about maybe an hour and a half out of it, and it really goes dim. So I just change out the battery. Anyway, where are we here? Oh, yeah. So if you want, just go on Google, type in Indian River, Michigan. That's where I'll probably be heading up to Monday. I got to see how it goes. Oh, anyway, back to my live. Just going to let you guys know. It just takes some time, and I could do the Price is Right game and hold on. Dang it. I just want one freaking sheet of paper here. I could print up the picture of the item, and then hold it like that. But I think I'll do like last time because I reviewed it. Behind me, I got a big, well, not big, but I got a 32-inch TV down here where I do my broadcasting. And I got another laptop computer, and I'll take the stuff and put it in. Yeah. Later this week, I'll do it. I didn't have the time to piece everything together because how I like to do it, I hook my computer up to my TV down here, and I've done on a couple broadcasts before. I did it on a morning show, the first Price is Right game I did. But I'll put the TV behind me, and I'll put it in a PowerPoint, and I connect my computer to the TV with the HDMI cable, and I'll have my little PowerPoint remote, and I'll bring up the item. Like one item I had was a Whirlpool window air conditioner, and the closest the person who closest guessed, let me say this slowly, whoever guesses closest to the price of the item without going over like the TV show wins. And then I put up I think last time I did 15 items. Oh, you could never go to sleep. Well, hey man, if you can't go to sleep, the late night show, it's on YouTube. Forget that Saturday Night Live. Forget that bonehead Stephen Colbert. I like Fallon. Don't get me wrong. I like Jimmy Fallon. I can't stand Colbert. It's the late night show, man. Here, Info Spot 411. You got it, man. When others are asleep, I'm at work. It's the late night show. that'd be a good ad or promo I could do, You can't sleep tonight. Go on YouTube, Info Spot 411. It's the late night show. Yeah, I've been a night owl. I worked midnights for several years. Oh, anyway, real quick, guys. The Price is Right game. So what I'll do is I get a bunch of stuff, and I'll like items, and I'll go to Walmart.com, Amazon.com, Lowe's, maybe a Home Depot, Targets, and I'll get a certain item, and then I'll put the picture up with the a brief description of what the item is and about it. Oh, I did talk about there was a news story with some allegations of sexual harassment by her producers and stuff. And I'll give you my opinion on Ellen McNiker. But anyway, wrapping this up. So I'll grab like 15 or 20 items, and I'll put my Price is Right logo and crap in there, make it look cool. And I'll put it on the TV behind me, and I'll say, okay, next item up for bid is a Whirlpool window air conditioner. Does 700 square feet. And you'll see the big air conditioner. So then everybody has to, I usually allow like maybe 15, 20 seconds. You guess the amount, just like the TV show, what you feel the retail price is that air conditioner. And then what I'll do is say, okay, time's up. And let's say I got 5 guesses in. So the person who guesses closest to the retail amount without going over wins. That simple. The only thing I didn't do is with the show, they have at the end that showcase showdown where I could take a couple of items and add up the price and take the top 2 people and do it. You know, if I get time, I can work that in there. Some of the other aspects of Price is Right I can work in there, where like you ever see that one cool game they do is like they'll take a car and they'll have like 6 numbers, and then I'll say, okay, your first number is 5. Where do you put it? And you got to match up where those numbers go. If you match up those 6 numbers right, you win the car. You know, you can win it. But there's some different things I can look into. But for right now, I'm just kind of doing, you know, is something fun to do. I say what the item is. You actually look at it, and then you put your best guess in there without going over, and the closest person to it wins. Simple enough. But it's something fun to do, you know. I like I said, I had some issues with the whole trivia thing. And anyway, let me get to the chat. I don't want to ignore you guys, man. Oh, Ellen needs to be canceled. Here's my opinion on Ellen DeGeneres and her show. I find her show and I find Ellen quite boring. I've liked a few episodes of Ellen when there's somebody on there. But see, the reason I'm tuning in is I'm here to see the guest that comes on Ellen DeGeneres, you know, where I'm not too big on Ellen. I don't know. I find her quite boring. It's kind of like Jimmy Kimmel, sort of similar to Jimmy Kimmel, but Jimmy Kimmel's not as bad as Ellen in that aspect, where I'll tune in to Jimmy Kimmel when there's a guest on that I want to see, or it's like something on a show. But I find Jimmy Kimmel not as good as Fallon. I think Jimmy Kimmel does a lot of jokes in his humor, and he has that one funny guy who's the security guard, Guillermo, I think is his name. And Kimmel thinks he's so freaking funny, you know, and he puts out some of that different humor than, let's say, Fallon or Colbert. But a lot of his stuff, I just don't find that freaking funny with Kimmel. Like I say, I think the best late show on right now is Fallon, who took over Jay Leno's spot, Fallon. Stephen Colbert, my problem with that is, talking on this topic, I think I talked about this last night or night before, or one of my shows previous before. Anyway, Stephen Colbert, I feel like I'm watching CNN or freaking Fox News. Okay, I get it. Throw out some political humor, a few jokes with your monologue. And even then, you do 5 shows a week, 5 nights. Okay, Colbert? Talk about the president, criticize him. Okay. But every freaking late show Colbert is on, it's like half his show, and literally, I'm not exaggerating, it's close to half his show is just complaining about the president and politics. I'm like, dude, go take your freaking show and go on CNN or Fox News, man. I want to get away from the freaking politics. You don't stop, man. I want to enjoy a good late night show. I mean, Fallon, okay, he's cool. He cracks some jokes, you know, and does criticism of the president, and you might agree with him on something, whatever, does a little politics. But Fallon moves on with the show, man. He knows, okay, people, I'm not on CNN or Fox News here. But that's the problem with that Colbert. Oh, my God. Whew, I can't stand that guy. And The View, oh, my Lord, is that a terrible show. Now, I used to like The View a little bit back when Barbara Walters kind of was on there. And, the other black lady, she was heavy set. She was on The View. She wasn't too bad. Used to be on there a while back. But, this Whoopi Goldberg and then these 2 other, ladies, they love to talk some politics. And half the time, they don't fact check. They don't research stuff. And they've been embarrassed when they've brought on some people that are well-versed in politics on their show. But they're another one similar to Colbert. When I turn on The View, it's like, dude, you're not on CNN. You're not on Fox News. So calm down with the politics, man. Jeez, oh, Pete's. And it's like, oh, my God, Whoopi Goldberg, talk about a big phony when people have come on there and contradicted her, she's literally got up off her seat and walks off like, oh my God, I can't believe you say this and do that. Well, why don't you be a freaking adult and sit down there and have a good debate? You know, that tells me you don't know Jack SHIT, Whoopi. But I'm doing my little rant here, McNichram. You got me going, man. Oh, Lord. Jerry Springer. Yeah, you know, what I loved about Springer, it was just humor, man, and drama. And that's what you'd find funny in the afternoon, Jerry Springer, you know, it'd be something like your fiance has got a bombshell to drop on you, and they come on there and be like, okay, well, what is it? Or it'd be like your boyfriend has a very important story and they think that they're going to propose to him, be like, hey, I just want you to know I've been cheating with the next door neighbor for 2 years and I'm having second thoughts about getting married. And boom, the fight breaks out and the chairs go flying, you know, Jerry Springer. It's fun. It's entertaining. Yeah. You know, but yeah, that was, yeah. And then they fight. Yeah. That was Springer. They did do like a spin-off show and it was okay towards the late 2000s. The guy who played the guy who was a security guard at Jerry Springer's show, he used to be an actual city of Chicago police officer. And I forget his name. He was that tall, bald-headed guy. He reminded me of that dude in Night Court, but he got his own show and was doing it in the daytime for a while. I think when Springer finally wrapped it up with it. Yeah. Is it Steve Wills? Is that his name? Okay. Yeah, he got his own little spin-off show. And then that other one, oh, Will Coles. Yeah, Will Coles. Yep, that's it. Yep. It was similar to Springer. I'd watch it once in a while in the afternoon. And then, what's the other one, McNichram, I'm thinking of? Damn. Oh, Maury Povich, the guy, you know, I kind of got a kick out of it. And he'd have that folder and like, I'll get to Dr. Phil in a second. Maury Povich had that like envelope and he'd hold it around like, you know, half the show and he'd have like two stories on. Are you the father, not the father? And finally, after they come out and argue, he'd open the envelope and he'd pull out the sheet of paper and he'd be looking at it here. You, Bobby Ray Jr., are not the father. And he'd be jumping up and down. Hey! You know, and then the second part, he'd pull it out and be like, hey, Tom O'Connor, you are the father. And then the girl will be like, yeah, you owe me some child support. It's about time you start being a father and accept responsibility. And blah, blah. And it was fun, but, you know, it was the same thing every freaking episode of Maury Povich. Guess what? I lose interest. I get bored. It's the same freaking thing. It's just a different person. That's all, different couple. Like, oh, my God, I can't take it. What else we got in here? Oh, Dr. Phil. One thing I like about Dr. Phil, he's an educated guy. He's a smart man. He's not so much of garbage, you know, like trying to do stuff like Springer in a sense, or Povich. And I like that about Dr. Phil. But the one criticism I have about Dr. Phil, he's overplayed that role, how he talks and like, you know, what was it? Let me try to do my Dr. Phil impression. Let me try to think of a quick topic that'd be typically on Dr. Phil. Oh, depression and teen suicide. And he'd bring out some parents that had some teenagers that tried to commit suicide and still alive. And he'd be like, well, you know, one thing we'll definitely do here is it's a tragic story, and we're gonna get you that help that you need here, and we're gonna do this and we're gonna do that. And I forget, he had that tagline, but Dr. Phil would be kind of repetitive too in some of the things he said. But yeah, I kind of enjoyed his show. It was all right. I don't know if he's still on and still does that show. But then again, you know, I'm at work and doing stuff, so I haven't tuned into too much of the daytime show stuff, McNichram. Yeah. You are not the father. Steve Harvey. Yeah. Now, here's my thoughts on Steve Harvey, the good and bad. Well, the pros and cons, whatever you want to look at. I'll give you my thoughts on Steve Harvey. Steve Harvey is funny, but when he does that Family Feud show. And I love Family Feud, man. That's a cool show. It's probably one of my favorite game shows. But, oh my God, it's like when that guy, he tells some jokes, and believe me, he's got some funny jokes and cracks he puts in his show. He's not as boring as that old white guy from back in the 80s. He'd walk up and just ask a question and, survey, do we have a blue Mustang? Answer. You know, and that was it. Steve Harvey puts a little something in the show. But my one criticism of Harvey is sometimes he tells a joke that's just not that freaking funny. And if he doesn't get the acknowledgement and all the laughs, this is the problem with Steve Harvey. It's like he'll turn to the side and he'll hold off on reading his answer. And he'll do these gestures. He'll take his hand and set it on that table and look and say, okay, now you really mean that? And it's like he can't move on with the freaking show till everybody acknowledges every joke he says is something freaking funny. And I'm sorry, Steve Harvey, everything you say isn't funny. A lot of it is, and I give you credit. A lot of what you do on your Family Feud is funny, but not every damn thing. So when people don't laugh and acknowledge, ding, 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 shut the hell up and move on with the show, man. Don't hold up the freaking show because you got to get acknowledged for every joke you say. Anyway, that's my little rant on Steve Harvey. Overall, he's funny. He's much better than the two previous guys who've done the Family Feud. Much better than them. But that'd be my one small criticism on Steve Harvey. Oh, hey, Novak. Thanks for coming in. I'm about to wrap the show up in a little bit. We're just talking about shows and that. I went over all my topics in the description. Guys, if you aren't connected with Novak, you know what? Let me do this. I'm going to do a couple channel drops here since we are networking. Great question, bro. Howard Stern. I'm going to tell you what I think of Howard here. But let me do a couple channel drops because we are networking. I meant to do this earlier. I did it at the start of my show, but you know that was 2 hours ago. So let me put Novak in here, and I'll get all you guys. Novak's a good friend of mine, and he does some really great lives. He'll help you build your channel, man. Copy. I'm gonna put this in here. Oh, you don't really care for feminists? Yeah, I don't either. Okay. David. Let me get you David. And I'll get you McNigrum. Copy. I'm just doing some channel drops because we are networking. And real quick, as I always say, I always like to say it. When I say networking, I mean we go to someone's channel, watch one of their videos in full, at least one video in full. We leave a like and a really great comment, and we subscribe. We don't do sub for sub. That's networking. As well as check out their channels because there'll be some stuff worth watching as well. It's not just about seeing, is it content that I'll like and enjoy. You can go to other people's channels, and when you watch some of their stuff, it'll give you ideas a lot of times for doing stuff on your own YouTube channel. Okay, McNigrum, let me hit you up, and we'll get back to some conversation here. I want to do some channel drops so we can network. Because I want to make this about all of us here, my show. I try to be a giver, not a taker. I see so many takers on YouTube, and it's just what they do, and that's not me. I don't want to be a taker. Okay. Yes, I do. Yeah, I'm almost there. And it takes people like you guys, man. You help me out. Okay, I got some channel drops here. You can network with each other as well. Yep, I'm almost getting there. Oprah Winfrey. I used to like her show some years back and watched it. And then I kind of got turned off by her like in the past like 15 years or so because she's always full of herself quite a bit. And but you know, I give due respect, man. One of the wealthiest people in America, Oprah Winfrey. What else did I have in here? So a few other questions I had. Oh, Howard Stern. Howard Stern. Okay. I really respect the fact that Howard Stern, like his movie Private Parts, and one of the cities he worked as in mine in Detroit when he was first starting out. But literally, Howard Stern is like one of those rag to riches great stories in hard work, perseverance, all that good stuff. it paid off for him because he knew, if you're good at your craft in broadcasting, you got the potential to go. But Howard Stern, I mean, he went against the system back in them days when he would talk about real controversial stuff for as far as having lesbian women on his talk show and doing topics and skits on that, which, that was a big no-no back in those like 70s and 80s, the late 70s and 80s, what he did. And some of the stuff he did that other people in those times weren't wanting to touch, as well as Howard Stern, as he started becoming well known in a document in the movie, and he went to New York with that WABC or NBC, WNBC. He almost got railroaded, and that Don Imus, he tried to get him off the air because he knew he was a threat to him. But Howard Stern, yeah, I much respect for that guy and what he's done to broadcasting, and he deserves every penny that guy's got. He is a millionaire, but he's worked for it, and it's not just that he's worked for it. A lot of people work and don't become millionaires, but Howard Stern, he went against the establishment, man, with the broadcasting, and did stuff that no one else was wanting to touch, no one else was wanting to do. They were just worried about bringing their check and doing stuff, and much respect for that. The thing with Howard Stern, though, that I'm not too big on is when he got on the satellite radio and just before it kind of became the repetitive same crap. He would bring on like models and topless dancers and do like the same old type of sexual talk, real graphic sexual talk. And it was just the same old, a lot of his stuff kind of got repetitive later in the years, but I always enjoy his interviews with a lot of celebrities and athletes and people. Even President Trump was on his show back in the early 90s. It was on YouTube on Howard Stern. And then Howard would ask a lot of questions that other shows wouldn't do. And he wouldn't be like a Larry King and, here's all my questions. They're not too confrontational. Howard Stern gave a damn. Howard Stern's thing was, you come on my show, these are my questions I'm going to ask you. Like, if let's say he brought, trying to stay away from politics, somebody, let's say he bring on Colin Kaepernick. Okay, he would let Colin Kaepernick talk about what's happened so far in the NFL and that, but Howard Stern would also get confrontational with them, not in an argument, but he'd say, okay, well, wait a minute. He would bring up a question like, okay, you sued the NFL because you claimed racism. It's a place you can't work. You're discriminated against, but you're wanting to come back. So why would you come back to a place that you said that you didn't want to work? It's not my opinion, but I'm just using this example, so listen carefully. But that's what I respect about Howard Stern. Howard Stern would ask those confrontational questions that someone like Larry King or Barbara Walters or The View, they wouldn't touch that because they'd be afraid of upsetting the guest. And that's too confrontational. We don't want to ask our guests a question like that. Howard Stern would be like, no, this is what a lot of my listeners want to hear. There's a lot of people that support you. There's a lot of people that disagree with you. And this is a fair question I want to ask you. But that's the thing I really respect about Howard Stern, what he does. The only thing that turned me off a little bit, I got some, hello, just good vibes. Thank you for coming. And thank you, Novak, as well. But that's my take on Howard Stern is I love the fact that he would ask those questions you really want to hear. A lot of other talk shows, you don't get that. Anyway, let me get to the chat. I don't want to ignore you guys because without you guys in the chat, I got no freaking show unless I want to talk to YouTube, get late. I'm having fun. Okay. It is so disrespectful that people who started the small YouTube support, now after they get monetized, they stop doing small support. Shame, just wanted to get monetized. Yeah, that's true, Novak. Let me read the other comments and I'll address that. Yes, I'll get to that too, McNikram. That's a great thing I would like to talk on. Yes. Novak, people want to do small YouTube forever. Yeah, that's true. A 6-pack of beer and a large pepperoni pizza. Now we're talking, baby. But I'm not too big of a beer drinker, but I'll have it once in a blue moon. Anyway, I like that comment. Oh, okay. Well, thank you if I'm your favorite. All right. Well, let me go get the first comment. I'm gonna get to all your stuff here in the chat. I don't want to ignore it. Uh yeah, that's another thing I don't like either. Um, just leave a like. Let me tell you something. There's one guy like I know, McNiker will probably know what I'm talking about. I don't call his name out because I try to be fair. I don't like to talk about people behind their back. Now, something that somebody does, I might talk about. I won't mention your channel. But anyway, your comment, always saying leave a like. I hate that. When I first come on a live, okay, welcome me. Say, oh, Novak, just good vibes. Hey, thanks for coming. But this is what I see a lot on these freaking YouTube lives, and it drives me crazy. And I'll use me as an example. InfoSpot 401. I come on the live. Oh, InfoSpot 411. Like up the video. Come on. Oh, like up the video. I'm at 15 likes now. Oh wow, I got 25 likes, but I got 23 people in my chat. Somebody hasn't hit up the like button. Come on, like up the chat. Like it up. Whoa. Slow your roll. Okay. You let somebody know you appreciate them coming on your live first. Be a giver, not a taker. And what you say is, Novak, man, thanks for coming. I appreciate you stopping by, man, for my show. Good to see you. Hey, everybody, if you I have to say connected, but if you're not, if you don't have Novak as a friend on YouTube, you definitely want to check out his channel. He does great lives. He helps build people's channels up. He does this. If you don't know McNiker, blah blah blah, you know, it's that type of approach. And I don't even like, first, another thing, I don't even like saying that through my video. Give me a like, give me a like. A lot of times that, you know what, the likes a lot of times are insignificant. It helps a little bit when you have a lot of likes on a live and you get noticed a little bit while your live is going on, but it's not that big of a deal as people freaking think. The two bigger things are the watch time and subscribers. But bigger than both of those things is putting out good content. And then I'll say this again, good content is interesting content. I don't give a damn if you're a cooking channel, if you just do vlogs, whatever it is. If people find what you do is interesting, you stick with that. It's good content, you know, but that's a sign of a taker. And it drives me crazy when people are doing this. Like up my live, like it up. I mean, that's the first thing you got to tell me when I come on your live. So yeah, that drives me nuts. Now I'll also say this, and I say this because I mean it. When it comes to a like, I want to earn it from you. I don't want to ask you for a like. If you give me a like, I want to earn it from you because you come on here. My name is Ed. I'm InfoSpot 411 channel, InfoSpot 411 YouTube channel. I want to get that like from you because you come on here and you say, wow, here's my sheet. I'll just bring it closer, okay? Boom, this is my outline. I went over these topics like, oh, wow, this is pretty cool. It talked about these Michael Jordan shoes that got 615,000 and this Australian surfer, he does some good topics. He reads it. Man, I like his his live is cool. Boom, hit it. Hit the like button. Fine. I don't want to be one telling everybody that comes in here, like my video, make sure you like it up. And now it is proven when you do a video, I'll say this, it is proven that if you mention subscribe when you do a YouTube video, that you much greater chance that you'll get somebody, let's say, who's new to your channel, they're going to subscribe to it if you say subscribe to my channel versus not. But when it comes to that and doing the videos, I always take this approach is I let people know I appreciate them. So like if you watch some of my videos, a lot of times I say, hey, I want to say a big thank you, or I appreciate all my subscribers. And I also like to thank everybody watching my videos, dropping those likes and comments. Thank you very much. But that's my approach when I do a video. I don't start a freaking video off with this thumb and the bing, bing, bing bell notification. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, like, share, subscribe. Okay, statistically, yeah, but there's a way you could say it and you can go about it, and that kind of comes off wrong. Not a big deal, but I'm not going to do that on my YouTube channel when I do videos or lives. So anyway, that's what it is with your comment there, McNigrum. Next up, I had Novak. It's so disrespectful that people started small YouTube support. They stopped doing small support, and shame on them. Well, yeah, here's the thing, and it's a great point, Novak, with the monetization. When some people were really big and they do their YouTube lives and they work with people, like, hey, I appreciate you coming and helping me out by coming on my live. And in return, I'm gonna try to network, and we're gonna help build your channel up as well, and all this. And all of a sudden, they hit 1,500 subscribers, and they get monetized, and they go a different route. But one thing I don't like is they'll put the little money symbol tab up. Okay, that's fine. I might put it up when I get monetized in my live chat, and you want to donate to help support my channel. Cool. But now they're pushing the membership thing, and make sure a member. And another thing that drives me nuts is someone telling me, make sure you watch my ads. Let me tell you something. Don't tell me I have to make sure to watch your ads or these YouTube ads played in there. People that are subscribed to good friends with me, I do that as a given. Okay. Once in a while, there might be an ad I really don't like and I don't want to see. But what drives me nuts is you're becoming a taker. You're telling people, make sure you watch my ads, get a membership in my channel, like up my freaking video. Oh, yeah, I got a button there if you want to donate and help out my channel. Like, you know what I'm saying? And then they forget, I was once there, as a small person struggling and fighting and doing my hustle to get up. I have friends on YouTube that have over 100,000, but I never ask them to boot me because I want to make it myself. Yeah, exactly. Yep. For sure, Novak. What else do I got in here? I want to try to answer everybody in the chat. David, thank you for that comment, man. That's awesome. What else we got here? Oh, I like that. I left you a glass of butter pecan milkshake with the plate. Yeah, there we go. Another thing you could say, this is a great code word. Oh, great. Thanks. Good vibes. I always love that when someone agrees with me, but if someone don't, I never take it personal. That's cool. Another good code word to tell you too, to use is when you watch somebody's video, okay, in full, and you leave a nice like and comment in your chat, you say, hey, I was just at your place, McNigrum. I cooked you a full meal, or just, I'm at your place. I'm now on your VIP list. When you say I'm on your VIP list, we all know what that means. That means you're subscribed to their channel, but that's another good code word to use, VIP list. Because the three things with YouTube, we got to be mindful of is spam, false engagement, and self-promotion. And if they deem what your comments are in a chat window and it falls under the self-promotion, false engagement, or spam, that's why certain things you don't want to type in and do. Now, some things have gone way too freaking overboard. I've been on a couple lives before. Yeah, that's what you say. Hey, I was just at your house, or I was at your place. I'm on your VIP list now. I'm going to cook you a full meal, or doing a full watch tango. You used to use the word dance, but now from several different places I've heard YouTube is catching on to dance is the same as subscribe. So anyway, some people, I've called it the paranoia, where they're like, I've been on some lives and they're like, oh, don't leave no emojis. That could be considered a spam. No emojis. Hello. YouTube's the one who put the freaking emojis there. What the spam is someone who puts in 4 or 5 emojis, okay, on one chat comment. that could be viewed as spam. Or if, let's say, they put in 6 different comments on their chat and it's the same 2 emojis, 2 thumbs up, that can be considered repetitive spam. But you can use emojis, slow your roll. And then what was the other one that was the capital letters and numbers? You can use a capital letter. Like, if, let's say, you put a comment like, hey, I was in New York City back in 2015. It's a lovely place. And you put a capital N and C. That's not spam, false engagement, or self-promotion. The real problem with the capital letters is somebody who uses all capitals. That's the problem. Numbers. Yeah, I did that first Price is Right show. I said, put in your amount. You think I'm going to have somebody type in $132.25 and say you got 15 seconds to actually type all that in? No, they just put numbers in. You can use some numbers. But like I say, you don't want to use too much of numbers or too much of capital letters, because that's what could be viewed as spam. So, but people have taken it so much extreme and in the paranoia. And a lot of times the problem is people go off of what they hear from others instead of actually taking a freaking hour and going on the YouTube community guidelines and reading that stuff. I was informed that you can't use numbers in the chat comments on a live. I said, that doesn't make sense. Okay, there I go. I got a little message. My internet connection was off and kilter. That's where I'm at, guys, real quick. I asked YouTube directly. They had a YouTube video and the comments were there and some questions were being put in. And wait. Oh, okay, thanks. So I asked YouTube this question. I was like, I was informed, it was on a YouTube video from the YouTube channel, YouTube video. I was like, my question was this. I was informed that using numbers is forbidden, or no, it is not allowed in the live chat. I says, can you use numbers or can we not use numbers? What is there any policy or rule against it? And their answer to me was, we cannot give out specific information as far as numbers being used in chat, because we don't want to help out people that use it for spamming purposes. So that's what they basically told me. I'd have to pull that thing up and go through my history. It was a couple months ago. And so, yeah, you can use a number in a live chat or a capital letter. It's just that it can't be used in the purpose of spamming, false engagement, or self-promotion. Now, sometimes you don't use it as that and they'll flag it. I've had comments I left on people's videos. One comment I had said, congratulations, and I put like an exclamation point. And somebody replied back to me 2 weeks later, it was in my spam folder. I watched the video and I forget what the freaking video was about. But yeah, sometimes it happens. But I'm just nailing home the point is, don't go off of what you hear and what people are always saying. Check it out for yourself. So that's the thing that drives me nuts. A lot of people don't take a rat's bit of behind to go and check the YouTube community guidelines, and actually read these policies and spend a couple hours and going over everything. What they do is, oh, I heard Mary Jo on this live say such and such. Yeah, no emojis, because YouTube doesn't want no more emojis. No. I'm like, okay, well, where'd you get that information? It was actually one lady. I challenged her on it. She was over, I think, in the Philippines, if I'm not mistaken. And I tried to stay unconfrontational with people. But anyway, I challenged her on it. I was like, well, where'd you get the information that emojis can't be used? And you know what she tells me? Oh, a couple other chats I was on, that's what they said, a new thing with YouTube, or YouTube said this or that. I got it from a couple different chats. I was like, okay, would you agree that those emojis are actually, YouTube put those in there? It's not like I'm taking emojis off my computer or a software program. These are emojis that YouTube has set up in there. And I forget what happened. She didn't reply back and just went on. But I was like, well, I don't want to get in a whole freaking argument. It's her live. You know what? I'm kind of this principle. If I don't like what you're saying or doing, have a great day. Goodbye. Anyway, let me get to the chat here, man. Yes, Novak does lives too, man. He does some cool ones, and he'll help give your channel some exposure and build it up. Believe me, he will. He does a cool thing. He'll feature your channel right on the screen. He has like a list deal. If you get in the first 20 people or 15, he puts you on that list, and then over in the live chat, he'll drop your link along with it. He will help you with exposure. Yes, he will. Yeah, true. Now, if you use all capital letters in the chat, that's a different deal. That could be viewed as spam by YouTube. Same as like someone putting in a comment with like 5, 6 emojis or using 2 emojis, several comments in a row. That is spam. But like Novak got a smiley face. There's nothing wrong with that. You put a couple emojis in, with a comment. There's nothing wrong with that. If you use a capital letter, say, hey, I never been to Detroit, Michigan, but I hear it's a pretty cool place in the summertime. And you use a capital D. There's nothing wrong with that. That ain't spam. These people, it just drives me nuts. One last time, people go off of what they freaking hear instead of getting the actual truth and the facts on something, and people speak out their butt when it comes to policies and what's going on with YouTube in general. Not everybody. I've seen it on some lives, uh anyone else? True Caps is shouting someone just good vibes. Thank you for looking for his support. Yeah. Okay. Now, one word I do know is you want to avoid using the word subscribe. It could be used in certain contents and the content of what the meaning is of it, and how you say it. But that is a good word to avoid because they use the automated software and then algorithm, I believe is how they say it, YouTube. But yeah, subscribe usually brings up a red flag using that word. So that's one I avoid. Any rate, anything else? Oh, okay, just good vibes. Yep. And I got by the way your channel's links there if you scroll up the chat window to network with each other. But you also do a favor. Let me get a sip. My throat get dry. I'll run in another 20 minutes here. Finish it up. Yeah, do me a favor. As I say, as we network, you want somebody to do this when they come to your channel just as much as you'd want them when they come to your channel. Well, I always say this 1,000 times, is watch one of their videos in full, in full watch, okay? Even if you find it a little bit boring, just let it play. Drop a like, drop a nice comment, and subscribe to their channel. That's genuine networking. So that's what we do. Doing that sub for sub and just, hitting subscribe and leaving. And two, some people, if you go on someone's channel and you pull up their video and you're only watching like 10 seconds of it and you throw a like and leave, that's not helping them out either, because that's what you want. If I come on your channel, your YouTube channel, and you got content in there, I'm not going to just watch your video for 10 seconds and it hit a like or your subscribe button and go take off. You want someone to go in there and watch one of your videos at least in full and check out your stuff as well. So that's how it goes. Any rate, that's it for I had the topics here tonight. The rolling blackout, anything. If I'll just read the headlines. If there's something you guys want me to talk about again on this, or you want to say something on this, I can go over it. If not, no biggie. I'll just read these topics I went over earlier here, not the whole story. The rolling blackouts in California, they got major power issues, so they've been doing deliberate blackouts in the state of California. That was in the news. This was kind of a hot topic. The rioters that tore down the George Washington statue in Los Angeles at the City Hall building. That conversation, gosh, went about a good 40 minutes. That's one. What else did I have here that I went over? Oh, me and McNikram, we just talked about it. The rude people rant. I talked about this stupid census taker. was being real rude to my neighbor. The FDA grants an emergency authorization of the saliva COVID-19 testing. It's going to be faster test, and they'll be able to test more in that short time frame. Australian surfer saved his wife by punching a shark. Yeah, that was cool. Well, I mean, it wasn't cool. His wife got airlifted to a hospital. She's doing okay now, but the guy jumped off his board and just pure adrenaline. Pow! Take that, shark. Oh, the Michael Jordan shoes auctioned for $615,000. New record. And Maryland man breaks a record of for the biggest sheephead fish, just over 14 pounds. Those were the topics for tonight. So, yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's the other thing I'll talk about here a little bit. I ordered this Slurpee machine from 7-Eleven. And I did order another one. I got on the way. It was the day before the Slurpee machine. This is as seen on TV. It's like make your own slushies. And I'll probably test it out. But any rate, it's got like these reusable ice cubes, and you put 3 of them in there, and you mix those ice cubes with the juicer stuff, and you shake this thing up or some crap, and you make your own like Slurpee slushy. But the first one I'm going to hit to, man, is going to be really, really cool. The 7-Eleven Slurpee machine, so I can make my own Slurpees at the house. Even if I want to kick it up a notch, I can put just a touch of gin or vodka in with it, after I make it. But at any rate, it's plastic, and it's got the round cylinder. It goes from end to end. And the one I saw one video on it, but they have another one where it's the same thing, but it's a hand crank. This one's got batteries, so you don't have to sit there and crank a freaking handle for 5 minutes. But basically, I can make my own Slurpees now, or I supposedly. So once I get that bad boy, I'm gonna hook it up and do a product review on it and see how it is. Yeah, this Slurpee machine thing I got coming, and I got it for just under $20. I think it was like $11 or $9 I paid for it, and it was like almost the same price for shipping. So once I get that, I'll check it out. I got that on eBay, but I thought that'd be really cool. Make your own Slurpees right at home. The one I saw on YouTube, when I saw this, I was looking on YouTube, and I haven't seen the battery one on YouTube. Maybe it is, but these people tested out this Slurpee machine, and like I say, it's yeah. As soon as I get it, as sometime this week I get it, I'll get the camera, my lighting, everything set up. I got the batteries already. I'm going to do a review on the thing. It'll be cool. Anyway, this other Slurpee machine that they make is a 7-Eleven one. Hold on, my foot gets stiff sitting there. I got to stretch out. It's a similar one where it's just as long and clear, and you put let's say you want to make a Coca-Cola Slurpee. They poured a can of Coke in. But like I said, they got this freaking handle, and on the instructions it says, turn the handle for 5 minutes. Well, it's got these like plastic blades in there where with the ice and the Coke, and that it all tie, how should I say, it binds it up together, mixes it up. So you got to constantly turn this freaking handle. The guy's got it, and he's got this handle, and he's going around. He's like 5 minutes, but they edit the video. So when he gets done, he's like, all done. And he's got like a small size Slurpee cup, and he puts the damn thing under the machine, and she goes, okay, let me pull it. Pulls the thing, and they literally get like one Slurpee cup. Now, can you imagine let's say some parents, and they got like 3 kids, and they're like, okay, here, Johnny, here's your first Slurpee. Malcolm, come over here. You're next. All right, come on, get cranking. Oh, the hell with that, man. Like, why wouldn't they put a freaking plug in there? Or, oh, hello, thank you for coming. T-Tech, okay, thanks for coming. Like, why wouldn't they put a freaking plug or batteries? Now, when I got this one, I looked at it, and it was 2005 or 6, like I say. You put 4C batteries in there, and you hit the freaking button. So once I get it, I'm going to, read up on it, and it's used. It's used. Apparently this thing was like 40 or 50 bucks, I think he said in the listing when it was new. But I'm getting it for like just under 20 bucks. The only thing it's not coming with that came with it, it said in the eBay listing, is it came with like 2 or 4 of these Slurpee cups, but that didn't come. Everything else, it said it's in working condition. It all looked fine. So, oh, Extreme Artist, thank you for coming. So the Slurpee machine, any rate, it's got oh, thank you. Coming from Novak. Yes, I appreciate that. Novak is a good friend of mine. Thank you, man. He's awesome. I come on his lives too. Thank you for coming. I'm about to wrap mine up shortly, but anyway, I'll keep it going. The conversation, people are still here and want to talk. Wrapping up the thing on the Slurpee machine. So I'm just going to go to, I got a 7-Eleven that's like maybe 10 minutes from me. So I'll go to the 7-Eleven. I'm going to get a couple of Slurpees when I go by there, and then have this, and I'll rinse them out when I get home. So I'll have, make it look real cool for my video. I'll have the Slurpee cups. Oh, thank you. Thank you for coming from the Novak channel. Yes, thank you for coming. I appreciate that. Thank you, Novak, as well. Everybody, thank you for being here. Once I get done, I'll do a couple channel drops here. You guys just came in. So yeah, I'm going to get a couple Slurpee cups from 7-Eleven and then hook this thing up when I get it, and then do a product review, the Slurpee machine. So you can make Slurpees right at home, So that'll be cool. But yeah, I try to, one of the things I like is doing these product reviews. Extreme Drawing Artist. Let me see.
Hello friends, today I will tell you about my channel.
I'm just making sure I got the right Extreme Drawing Artist. I don't think that's the one. I'm trying to do a channel drop here. Indian Army. Oh, speak my name. Indian Amy. Hello to you too. Hello to you too. So anyway, with the whatchamacallit? My product reviews is I try to look for, I go on eBay, Amazon, as well as websites. And the big thing I love looking for is these as seen on TV type products. Because a lot of these as seen on TV products are just a big gimmick. And that's where I like to test them out and see, is this thing actually good? Is it worth spending your money on? Or is this one of those like gimmick products? Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming. Boom, do a channel drop here. If you want to do, if you're here in Novak, you want to do a couple channel drops here with your friends coming in too, you can do that as well. I'm going to try to, so we're networking, do a couple channel drops. You're coming in. So anyway, that's what I like with these product reviews. I like to find these, especially they make these claims, and some are outrageous, and yeah, there's some that are true, but anyway, I look for these as seen on TV products, and one of the first things I look for. But as well, when I go through the store, I try to find stuff that I like to do a product review on, that I feel would be a good product review, as well as I like to do T-Tech. Okay, I'll hit you up. Hold on, T-Tech. I gotta I'll get you up. Hold on here. T-Tech, I'll get you here. Hold on. Copy. All right, let me see if I pull your channel up here. So anyway, yeah, when I'm walking through a store, if I see a product that kind of catches my eye, as far as something that, not too many people have or would seem interesting, I will buy it and do a product review. And a couple examples is, here you go, T-Tech. Boom. I did a product review on the emergency poncho, and I did another one on this thing. I got it right over here. I can grab it. The field shovel. But one of my things I like to do is I like a product that's $20 or less. Now, sometimes I might go over 20 bucks, but I try to keep it stuff that's really affordable, as well as, ones that make claims or been on TV. With that field shovel was a cool product, and I got that thing, I think, for like $12 or something. I forget. Wasn't much more than 10 bucks. I think it might have been less than 10 bucks. But these emergency poncho, for example, I was just walking through the store, this Myers near me in Detroit, in the sporting goods department, walking through, and where they had their fishing stuff and camping crap, I see this box that says emergency poncho, 99 cents. I said, oh, that'd be cool. It says like one-time use poncho. And I got the video. You can watch it. But I gave it a thumbs up. It was a great product. It's one of those one-time use deals you could put in your car, or have with you. So you get hit with that heavy rain. Man, this thing is small. And you just open the pack. It's basically like a thin garbage bag, but it's cut to fit between your shoulders and arms. And it's got a hood to go over your head, to keep you from getting soaking wet. But yeah, I do that sometimes too. When I go through the store, I'll notice something. I'll be like, this will make a good product review. What's the other? Oh, yeah. I did a cool one. I liked was they have a spray can fire extinguisher. We all know the traditional fire extinguishers, those big size, the full size ones. Well, they have one that's the size of like a spray can. And it's an ABC class fire extinguisher for the ABC type fires. So I said, this was new to me. I guess it was made by First Alert. I have it upstairs, as a matter of fact. I got the video on my channel. But at any rate, I took a bucket. I put some paper and tissue in there and some other stuff. And I got that Zippo lighter fluid, add some of that. And I put that sucker in there, start that fire, and I got the spray can. But I found that by just walking through the store. And it was less than 20 bucks. So I said, okay, let me see how this thing would work. Will it actually work well to put out a small fire? And the damn thing worked pretty good. The only thing is on the bottle, it says the spray can fire extinguisher. On the bottle, it says no need to shake, which is a bunch of BS. I had to shake the thing like a can of shave cream. But once I did, man, I was spraying the fire and it just put it out like that. No problem. But that's one of those items too. It would be a great thing, let's say you don't have much room in your car, or you got a boat and you want something real small to put in a car or a boat, and you want that little fire extinguisher. Rather than getting a full-size fire extinguisher, you can get that spray can fire extinguisher, But anyway, yeah, what I'm getting at is, in wrapping up this, is my product reviews I do. I look for the as seen on TV stuff, the internet, but as well when I'm walking through the stores. Oh, that other one I liked a lot too. I did a product review on the O2 Cool Misting Fan. Do I have that? Oh, I took it upstairs. I thought that this was going to be like a little plastic piece of junk. It had like 2 blades on it, and you put batteries in there. Oh, hello. Hello to you. Thank you for coming. So anyway, I got that O2 Cool Misting Fan. They sell that thing at Target. It was like 13 bucks or something. It wasn't cheap, but this damn thing was the cat's behind, man. It's got a little reservoir in the bottom, you'll see in my video, and I filled it up with water, and it takes 2 AA batteries. So I put a couple AA batteries in there. I'm not sure what that is. I'll just remove that part. I'm not sure what that one was. Yeah, I put a couple AA batteries in there. And the fan turns around, and the AA batteries, you don't have to do nothing. Just hold it. You hold the thing, and that fan with those batteries, man, it's got a nice little blowing power to it. I mean, it blows on you. And then it's got like a little water squirter. Oh, my God, this thing is the bomb. And when I was doing it, was right around, I think, just before or after the 4th of July. And it was freaking 90-some degrees. And I was filming this thing at night at my buddy's condo. And man, but yeah, I'm surprised. Sometimes you get a product and I'll see it at a store. I buy something offline and this thing lives up to what it advertises and it's great. And other times I get a product and it's just a piece of junk. But I do my drink reviews and my product reviews. I'll just, as you've seen them, you can get a thumbs up or they get the thumbs down. So I enjoy doing it. But I mean, I like doing other things too on my YouTube channel. I had a friend of mine, he teases me. Well, tease me means he calls me the review king, which, okay, that's cool. But yeah, I like mixing it up a little bit. But I do enjoy doing the product reviews. I have a blast in doing that. Anything else? I'm coming from Novak, Small Yater, Gaming LOF. Okay, well, hey, I'm about to wrap up this live here in just a little bit. Does anybody want to say anything before I take off? Let me do a couple more channel drops here. If you're not connected with each other, I'll do some channel drops here. We are doing some networking on here. T-Tech, okay. Very dangerous training, Indian Army. Oh, okay, that's interesting. You know what? Before I do that, T-Tech, are you still here? That makes me think of something. I see 5 people here. T-Tech, if you're still here, I didn't watch your video yet, but I see your one video is about the dangerous things in the Indian Army. There's a really cool video. They got a few of them, but anyway, there's one border between India and Pakistan, and they do a opening ceremony and a closing ceremony, and these the military soldiers that take part in this, it's kind of like our United States Marine Corps. We have a silent drill team. They do like a parade march, and everything is done like in sync. And in the Pakistani Indian Army, they do this march where they take their freaking feet and it almost touches their nose. And it's a ceremony they do at the border. And they take the flags down together at a certain time, and they have these gates and how they close them. And I mean, it's a serious deal. But the people these military soldiers who are on this border where they do this ceremony, I mean, they really know their stuff, and it's unbelievable what they do. But it's cool to watch. But if you go on YouTube, type in India and Pakistan border, and it'll show. And they wear special hats. You might think this stuff is goofy, but believe me, I have a lot of respect for them, what they do. And this ceremony is just unbelievable how they're so much in sync and what they do. And it's really cool to watch. It's the one border that's like a peaceful border between India and Pakistan, where they'll cross, the people can, come across, and they come and go through the two borders with the country, because India and Pakistan have had some really major issues over this area of land, the Kashmir, and they've had war over this. And there's some tensions between India and Pakistan. There is, but anyway, you made me think of something when I saw your video, T-Tech. If you're still here, by the way. On your channel there with the Indian Army, about the border between India and Pakistan. The one concern, see, that's another concern. Always people think America and Iran and North Korea, but India and Pakistan have nuclear weapons. And there's always been concern because they have fought over this land, the Kashmir. And if war were to break out between those two, that could turn nuclear. So that's one of those things that we hope peaceful relations stay in place between India and Pakistan. But anyway, T-Tech, if you're listening to me, yeah, I'm sure you know what I'm referring to. Indian Army. Oh, Indian Army. Are you here, Indian Army? So you probably know what I'm talking about as well. Any rate, yeah, so I'd like to thank everybody. I'll be wrapping up the show here in just a few minutes. Thank everybody for coming on my late night show tonight. I had fun. I appreciate you being here. Later this week, I'll try to do, I will be doing another late night show, and I'll try to do, I meant to say, the Price is Right game for us. I'll be doing that later this week for a late night show. I will be getting back to doing some morning shows coming up. I'll do a morning show. I've done that. most of my morning shows, I haven't had too many people show up. I seem to get more people that come on my late night show, but I'll still do a morning show. You know, I'll still be doing it. I'll do another morning show coming up, and I'll get some more topics, and then as I always do, and have a game. Oh, before I leave, anybody still here, if you want to contact me for a comment, a question, anything, you can get a hold of me at infospot411@yahoo.com. That's infospot411@yahoo.com. So if you want to get a hold of me, it's infospot411@yahoo.com. So you want to tell me something in private, you got a complaint, you got a concern, you have a question, anything, you know, you don't want it in the chat window, that's how you get a hold of me, infospot411@yahoo.com. And if you go on my YouTube channel, you click that About tab, I have that right in there, my email address that you can contact me at. Yep. So before I wrap it up, does anybody want to tell me? I got 4 people left here. Does anybody want to say anything to me as far as a question, or did they want something that a comment, anything else they want to talk about, or no? I'll wait. I'll give it a few more seconds here before I wrap it up. Again, I appreciate and thank everybody for coming on my late night show live tonight. I really, really do. Thank you so much. No, okay. Well, hey, anyway, until I do my next late night show, which will be a little later this week, and I'll do my video drop coming up, the drink review on the blueberry Smirnoff vodka. I got that drink review. I'll probably do that tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow night. As I like to say in my live, and my broadcasting lives, as well as my videos, and I say this because I mean it, stay safe and enjoy life, everybody. Thank you so much.